And there we are. Good Monday evening, everybody. We're glad to have you here for another night of Carnivore Talk. This is a nice, casual conversation of friends where we talk about all things carnivore. And you have the opportunity to be our guest because Monday nights on this channel is open mic night. And so you can fire up your device, click the link that's pinned to the top of the page, and join us on screen here. We've got room for 10. And so there's plenty of opportunities to get in here. And if you're not carnivore, you can ask questions about carnivore face to face. You can also ask them in the chat. That's okay. If you do, make sure you use a question mark and put some Q's in front of it, and we will answer them. We answer every question, although oftentimes, because we have a lot of guests on the screen, the conversation takes place and we get behind on the chat. But don't worry, your question will be answered. And if you have to go, we understand. Come back and watch it on the replay and you can get your answer. But you can jump to the front of the line and join us on screen and get your answer that way. If you're carnivore, tell us about the successes you've had. Everyone that I know who has attempted carnivore or a carnivore-centric diet of some kind, such as keto, ketovore, or animal-based, has seen remarkable improvements in their health. And we love to hear about those. So if you could share your victories, whether they're weight loss, whether they're health improvements, that would be fantastic. If you have any results that have to do with your heart health, we would really love to know that tonight, because that's the theme for today, is carnivore is good for your heart. And I know we'll probably get some flack from mainstream individuals who buy into the mainstream that carnivore is bad, but it's not. That's not the truth. And we're here to talk about the truth about a carnivore diet, a carnivore-centric diet, and eating whole foods and being mindful about what you're putting into your mouth and how you can increase all kinds of good things in your life, longevity and more. So again, give that some consideration. I have no announcements as of this time other than I've been promising the winner of the January giveaway, and I have one thing I have to do. I have all the entries tallied from carnivoretalk.com forum, but I haven't been able to tally the entries from the live streams throughout January and the members. So I still need to compile that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have it right here live. We'll put up a little wheel with everybody's entries and we'll spin it around and we'll pick our winner live. And we'll probably do that next week. I meant to do it this week, but life gets away from me. I'm busy at work in the secular world. So let's start with saying hi to our on-screen guests. We have Geoff and Paul. I think we started with Paul last week, so we'll start with Geoff this week. How are you doing, Geoff? How's things going?
I'm doing great. Beautiful weather down here right now. We was up over 80 degrees today and absolutely loving it. Went for a good motorcycle ride. Unfortunately, it was to go to the tax appraisal office and pay my land taxes, so that kind of bit. But the ride was nice, So we're just doing good down here.
All right, very good. It's interesting that you mentioned that. I have to pay mine this month too, by the end of February, property taxes. But there's a big push here in Ohio to try and eliminate the property tax. That's going to be on the ballot this year, which would actually be nice. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, I'm ag exempt, because I got a farm, so that helps with my taxes tremendously. And then we have a Homestead Act down here. So even if and that's been since Texas became a republic. I mean, that goes all the way back to Stephen F. Austin, our first president. And basically what it means is if we homestead our property, nobody can take our property from us. If we don't pay our taxes or something, nobody can take our property from us. But when we die, we can't, the state will take our property. but so you couldn't leave it to your kids or nothing. But anyway, so we've got the homestead, which that reduces property taxes, and then we have a 65 and over exemption that freezes our certain taxes, like school taxes. We're locked in and frozen, and so they will not go higher. So that helps. So we take advantage all we can, but yeah, it'd be really nice if they could eliminate them altogether. But then, not to turn this into a political show, but then, so how do we pay for fire and police and sanitation, all this other stuff? Because that's what pays for all that. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I imagine sales taxes will go up. They're going to get their money somehow. So
yeah, true. They're going to get their pound of flesh.
Yeah, I don't know, and yeah, I don't get involved in politics, so I don't have a say so one way or another.
But I do. This isn't the platform for it.
Yeah. All right, and how about you, Paul? How you doing? How's the weather treating you?
Well, we're in a warming trend. Tomorrow's going to be like 35, 36, and I think Wednesday, the next day after that, we get up to 40-ish, and it's going to stay in the 40s for a while. But I saw a long-range forecast, like day 10 was breaking 50, and so I guess this is the first year it's really bothered me. First year it's been this cold here, and Texas is looking better all the time, but it's just so far away. And I consider it, but it's just so far away. But I like the attitude of people in Texas. The ones I've connected with, I just like their attitude. It fits me. It's a match. Mm-hmm. And yeah, property taxes are just out of sight. And one interesting trend, my son-in-law is primarily a bankruptcy attorney. He has his own business. And he works from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, 5 days a week. And he's pretty productive, and he's very, very disciplined about sticking to that schedule. He can no longer keep up. He cannot handle the increased business since the beginning of the year. And so my daughter's now joining him in the office and trying to help him out, and can't turn away paying customers. And it's just, I was kind of surprised, and I've been looking for property, and I was surprised at the amount of foreclosures out there. Mm-hmm. Just, whoa. I don't have any past reference to compare it to, but I was just surprised when I look at listings, just foreclosure after foreclosure, and I got tired of filtering through them, so I, went into the filter system and started blocking all the foreclosures and made the search much easier. But everything's going pretty well, and just
good.
Trying to exercise a little more every day, and it's working out, and not seeing any real results yet as far as blood sugar goes, but just give it time.
Yeah, I'll be able to amp up my exercise game as the weather improves too, because I'm just not motivated too much to do it indoors. I love walking the dog, hiking the trails, and being outside, and it's just been so cold for that this year. But we have a warming trend also. So I think tomorrow is going to be 50 degrees here in Ohio. Amazingly, that's a huge jump because we haven't had a day over freezing in probably a month. And then it's going to back off a little bit, but then towards the weekend and all next week, all those days look like they're in the 40s. So finally, and it's right on schedule too. Second half of February, we usually start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. So I think we're about out of the rough finally. So yes, good weather here too. All right, very nice. Let's go say hi to the folks in the chat. We got 26 right now, and everyone's on YouTube currently. So since you're on YouTube, if you could take a moment to hit that like button, that would be great. because when everybody hits that like button, then all of a sudden our viewership goes up, because that tells YouTube to push this live out in front of more eyes. And that would be very, very kind of you if you could do that for us. And if you have an opportunity to share the link somewhere on social media that isn't spammy and unwanted or uninvited, if you could go ahead and do that too, that would be fantastic. But first in the gate was, and we could almost predict this, Linda Flanagan at 7:14. She's the early bird that gets the worm. Very good. Nice to see you here. And we got Sandy Blythe and Paul. He started here at 7:30. And Linda says it's her favorite night, Monday Night Live here on Carnivore Talk. We really appreciate comments like that. It touches our heart. Bill Cook is in the house. And we've got Pretzel Pete. And of course, he's actually Papa Carnivore. Pretzel Pete is an inside joke. And good to have you here, Pretzel Pete. All right, very good. So they're going to skip a few of these comments here. And let's see here. Yeah, Paul just talked about his warming trend. And we have Bacon Runner. Good to have you here, Bacon Runner. Glad you could join us. And Geezy, the carnivore. That's Jeff. You see him on the middle of your screen. And who do we have? Let's see here. And Uncle Charlie. You've been on the screen before. You're welcome back anytime if you like. How you doing, Uncle Charlie? We're doing good. So, still living the dream, carnivore diet. I'm lost pounds in January and which is good because I actually put a few on. I reached my goal weight of 175, and then over the course of the next 2 years, I kind of get up to about 179, 180. But thanks to, being strict in January, I'm back down to 175, which is where I'm comfortable at. I like that. Brian Dish is in the house. Good to see you. And here's Carnivore Jerry. Holy cow, I just walked in at the wrong time. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I hope it's okay. Let's see here. Uncle Charlie, we said hi. Sandy Blythe. And here's Target Prime Rib. And I'm going to slow down here and mention Target Prime Rib. This is Thomas Pruitt, by the way. And he's going to interview me on his channel on Saturday at 4 p.m. So actually, let me go over to YouTube and I'll get the link and we'll share that. So I really appreciate being able to speak on his channel, Target Prime Rib. And I'll post the link because I think I'm the only one that's allowed to post links in the chat, at least clickable links. So here we go. Go over there, subscribe to Target Prime Rib, and tune in on Saturday at 4 p.m. live, and we'll have a good time. I'm sure we will. We got Free Thinker in the house, and Uncle Charlie says, saw my neighbor today at Costco. He said, wow, you look great. You kept the weight off over the holidays. Awesome. Good job, Uncle Charlie. That's good. Lead by example. So Sandy Blythe says Cheerios are good for the heart. That's funny because they have a heart-shaped bowl right on the box, and they'll say that too.
Yeah, and, anybody can get that endorsement with enough money.
Yeah, I think Cheerios is probably one of the worst things you could put in your body. Absolute nutritionless mush. Yeah, just grains. If you believe Cheerios are good for the heart, you've been grain washed, as they say. Uncle Charlie's AFib is gone. Good. Awesome. Yes. I know someone else whose AFib is gone. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, so he knows that carnivore is good for the heart. And because that's probably, would you say that's your biggest victory? Is the heart problem you used to have?
It's what brought me to carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that carnivore would help me with my AFib. I was hoping it would, but I didn't know that it would for sure. I hadn't heard of anybody fixing their AFib or their heart issues. My whole thing was I have paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, so I'm not in AFib all the time. And I would have these attacks. Some of them would be small, but most of them would at least once a year I'd get hit with a big one, and it would put me in the hospital. And they'd have me in ICU. They'd, in the emergency room, they'd have a team of doctors and nurses working on me, trying to get my heart back in rhythm. And it's a scary, scary thing. It really is, because you're not getting any oxygen. You can't hardly breathe. Blood is just barely sludging through your veins, because your upper atrium just is not working. It's just doing this. It's just fluttering. It's not pumping like it's supposed to. And it's a scary thing. And, I can't even walk into the hospital, without passing out. So it's a scary thing. And even after a cardiac ablation, it didn't fix anything. I fell into that 40% that it doesn't do anything for. And my last AFib attack, I'm laying there on the gurney while they're working on me, and I had tears coming out of my eyes. And I told my wife, I turned to her and I said, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. And it was right after that, my son had come home from the oil fields, and he talked to me and said, hey, can I talk to you about something? And he talked to me about carnivore. And he didn't just tout carnivore. He gave me the literature. He gave me the studies. He gave me the YouTube doctors to look at and study them, Baker, Chafee, and Barry. So I spent 2 weeks just totally immersed, going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole and studying this. And when I decided to do it, I knew exactly what I was doing. I wasn't, I knew that I needed to fix my health. I needed to lose weight. I needed to change, and I needed to change my lifestyle. Now, like I said, once again, I didn't know it was going to fix my AFib. I just knew I needed to get healthier. And so that's what I started doing. And it was just absolutely amazing. The changes I saw with just in just 30 days. I couldn't believe it. And I mean, I was able to start exercising again. I used to be a gym rat, and I couldn't exercise anymore. I hurt so bad I couldn't walk 100 yards. I was in terrible shape, and I was just dying. And this allowed me to start moving again. It allowed me to start walking and exercising. And within 2 months, my doctor had to take me off of one of my medications. I was on two heart medications. One was no, can't think of it right now. One was flecainide, and the other one was no, I can't remember it. Metoprolol. That's it. And he had to take me off of metoprolol because it was dropping my blood pressure down too low. I had brought my blood pressure down naturally, and then the metoprolol was taking it down too low artificially. And I was on a walk one day and almost passed out. I had to get a ride home from a neighbor. And he took me off that metoprolol immediately. And then a year later, was it a year later? I think a year later, they took me off of my flecainide. And so I am no longer on any medications whatsoever. And it's all because of what carnivore did for me. Did carnivore fix the AFib? No, I don't think it did. I think what it did was it allowed my body to heal metabolically. And between losing weight and healing metabolically, the AFib went away. Whatever was affecting my heart before causing the AFib got healed. And so it allowed my body to heal. But one of the things that affects AFib is sleep apnea. My sleep apnea is gone. And I had moderately severe is the way they put it, sleep apnea. And it reduced down to, it started reducing down. I kept having, every 6 months, I was having a sleep study, and every time it improved. Finally, till it came to my last sleep study, they said, yours is so mild now, it's almost non-existent. I don't even use my machine anymore. I've got it. In fact, it's on a shelf behind me. It's packed up. Actually, it's over there. It's packed up. I don't use it anymore. So, blood pressure, sleep apnea, that all went, improved or went away. And then my sleep apnea, my atrial fibrillation. And the thing is, I've had PVCs most of my life, preventricular contractions. And they've always told me they don't mean nothing. They're not harmful. They're not hurting you. It's just a little flutter in your heart. Even those now, I don't have hardly anything. I will get maybe once a week, I get a little bit of a flutter in my heart. I barely notice it. It's just a miraculous thing that I've experienced. So, February being Heart Awareness Month kind of means something to me. I'm very aware of my heart. Where I was when all this started, I was a 66-year-old man that felt like he was 86 and just waiting to die, 1 foot in the grave. And now I'm a 69-year-old man. And I feel like I'm in my 40s, and I feel like I've got a long life ahead of me. So I really appreciate what carnivore has done for my heart.
Talk about getting your life back,
Yes.
and so you went from telling your wife, I'm done, basically throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
And now you're actually excited to continue running the race. So
yeah. And okay, so Paul spoke about working out. You spoke about working out. So I joined a workout, a fitness center, and or health wellness center. And I just can't find the time to be motivated to work out at home. And all I've got is dumbbells. I don't have a whole lot to work with. And you can do a lot with dumbbells and a workout bench. But I like the machines. I like a walker. I like stair steppers. And I don't like walking the roads around my property. They're real dusty, and people drive down them pretty fast, and I'm just not liking them. So we've got a healthcare system in the county next to me, which I'm only a mile from that county. They have a healthcare system, and they put in these wellness centers along with physical therapy centers. And they don't have a lot of machines, but they have enough to get really good workouts in. And so I looked into them, and senior citizen discount, $25 a month is all it's running me. And I can go there anytime I want, any time of the day or night. I got total access to the place. And it's only 2.6 miles down the road from me. So when the weather's nice, I can walk there and back, for a good walking workout. Walk down there, lift weights, walk back, have a good workout. So because, I'm getting to the point where between how much I've lost and my age, I believe I'm getting a little sarcopenia. I believe I'm losing muscle mass. And so I've really got to be hitting the weights. And I've even started a regimen of creatine. And and I know that's going to put some water weight on me, but that's fine. I need to get some muscle built back up. So I had a good workout tonight. In fact, I was rushing to get home so I could join the podcast.
Yeah, I texted you and I hadn't heard from you. I was like,
yeah, I was right in the middle of a workout.
All right, very nice. So everybody who's watching over in the chat, would you say that in the case of Geoff, carnivore was good for his heart? Absolutely. And this is the subject for tonight. We're going to elaborate on that in a little bit. We always get around to our subject, probably about between 8:30 and 9. But in the meantime, can you think of ways why carnivore is good for your heart? And if you can, maybe mention them in the chat, and we'll bring them up as we go. We've got a list. I've got a lot of things to talk about here. Not a lot. I got a bulleted list here, and we'll go over them. But what do you think? Why do you think carnivore is good for the heart? Let me know. Let us know. All right. So let me go over here to the chat. I've started skipping them and starring them now because they're getting way ahead here. Papa Carnivore is size 34, still wearing skinny jeans. I don't wear skinny jeans. Never liked them. I always liked, carpenter jeans. They're a little baggy. But I grew up in the 90s when baggy was kind of the trend. And he says, I think they got rid of that troll Frank. Actually, we didn't. I threatened to if he didn't cool it, but he could still be watching. And again, if you are not a carnivore, if you're a vegan, we don't mind you here. I don't even mind you on screen as long as you are civil, polite, and kind. If you can't be those things, then yes, we're going to send you to another channel somewhere. All right. It always amuses me how trolls come into these streams. Why do they even bother to come here? And, I don't, some of them start off trolling, but we put their comments up on the screen and we talk about them too. So, that's one thing about knowing what you know about carnivore is you don't have to shy away. If you know your stuff, you can easily make a defense, when someone is calling you crazy for this carnivore diet. At least I think so, because like Geoff and like myself and some others is, we didn't just, start eating carnivore and it worked. We actually dug deep into the science, into the research as to why it works and why it's beneficial. And I think that's something that everyone should do. So yes, by all means, start carnivore. If you haven't started carnivore yet and you're looking to try and improve your health, start today, start right now, start in the morning. But take the time to do the research, and because it's not just a fad diet. It's actually a very science-backed way of living. It's backed by science. It's backed by history, backed by archaeology. And there's a reason why, people call carnivore one end of the proper human diet. And the question is, why is that? Once you know the answer to that, anytime someone comes criticizing you, you've got knowledge to give them an answer. And I think that's very important. Kitchen Witch says hi. Uncle Charlie says scales measure water, fluid, skin, fat. As long as you're fitting your pants, that's good. That's true. Don't be too obsessed with the scale.
Yeah,
I agree with that. The scale is a rough metric on how you're doing, but it's not the tell-all, end-all of your health.
I'm a big proponent of using the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Now I use a scale just as a metric, but I don't sweat over it. What I did is I kept me a journal, and in that journal, I would measure myself once a month, total body measurement, shoulders, arms, forearms, legs, calves, waist, butt, the whole 9 yards. And it was just amazing that for 3 months I could be at a certain weight, and yet I was still losing inches. I don't know how that works out, but it works out. I wasn't going to argue with it.
It did for me too. When I got to my goal weight of 175, I got a pair of 34 jeans out of my closet that I'd kept. I used to wear them 20 years ago. And I put them on to see if I could fit them. And I could barely. They weren't comfortable. So I put them back and continued to wear my 36s with a belt. But over the course of the next few months, I didn't change weight at all, but I noticed I was changing the holes on my belt, and I went back later to those 34s, put them on, and they fit perfect. Hadn't lost a pound, but I definitely experienced what they call body recomposition.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's truly a thing. So your scale can stop dropping, and that can be discouraging. That's why you say don't obsess about it. But you could actually still be getting skinnier while that weight remains the same.
Well, and just show you how inaccurate a scale is, or how you shouldn't put too much salt in it. Weigh yourself in the morning, then weigh yourself at 12 noon, then weigh yourself at 7 o'clock at night. It will fluctuate all day long. It'll be different, So I don't put a whole lot of stock in a scale. I'll weigh myself in the morning. That's it. But that's just to see what's going on. But you can have water weight gain. One good dump can drop a pound. Whatever. The scale is just not an accurate measurement for me.
Yeah, I always weigh myself in the morning. I wake up, go empty, and weigh myself. To me, that's my metric. After that, I start drinking tea or water, or even if I eat, you eat something, and then the weight goes up, because you're not just weighing yourself, but you're weighing yourself plus the things you've consumed.
Yeah.
So that's why I measure myself in the morning right after I empty, for trying to be the most accurate. And I don't do it every day because I don't obsess over it either. All right. Tom says, Bob, I hope you got the email I sent you. I need a picture for Saturday. I did see an email. I didn't open it yet. I'll get you a picture. Don't worry. All right. Uncle Charlie says, Ken Berry says the American Heart Association pays Cheerios $100,000 a year to put the logo on the box. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think I remember the video that he put out on that. I'm pretty sure it was him, where they talk that to any company, any food that wants the heart label from American Heart Association, all they have to do is contribute to the American Heart Association, and they can get it. They're buying the label is what they're doing. And it all started because when the AHA started, they were nothing. They had nothing. They had no money. They had no power. They had no influence. They had nothing. And so who was it? I'm going to get it wrong, I'm sure. But some big food company came along and said, hey, how much money would you like to have to get started? And they gave them like, $1 million or $2 million to get them started. And you look at all the contributors now to the AHA, and it's almost all food companies.
You mentioned, you talked about this, how if they make a donation, then you can use the logo. That's actually pretty common. So in my secular business, my construction business, I'm a member of the Better Business Bureau, and I have an A+ rating. And when I first went into business, I started advertising the classifieds. That's how we actually used those back then. The Better Business Bureau reached out to me, and they're like, asking me if I wanted to consider joining. And back then it was like $300. Now it's like $450 a year. And I'm going to stop the story for a minute. Paul, do you have the YouTube open in another window?
I'll check, but I don't think so.
Okay, I'm getting some feedback on your end. And then, so they're like, I'm like, well, what's the qualifications? And they're like, well, you had to be in business for a year with no complaints. And I'm like, well, I've only been in the business for 30 days. They're like, oh, well, how long have you been doing this kind of work? I was like, well, for about 4 years, but I worked for someone else. And they're like, oh, that's good enough. All they wanted was the $300. And, and what do you get as a result of the $300 a year? Then you can use their BBB logo on your business cards and all your marketing, and that's actually all it's good for. They used to publish a magazine that they would distribute, but now they don't even do that. Now they just list you on their website. So, but I do get a couple jobs from them a year, so I still keep it up. But yeah, that's all they want is the money. and then you can use their logo, just like the American Heart Association. So that was an interesting thing that was brought up. I didn't know that, by the way. Interesting. All right. Let's see here. Carnivore Jerry has a question. Did you hear that Minute Maid is discontinuing all of their frozen concentrate juices the first quarter of 2026? Yes, I did. It was actually in the news that I listened to on the radio. And from what I gather is that frozen juice concentrate is just not popular anymore. They don't sell a lot of it. Fresh is the end thing, so they're just discontinuing it. She also says that Minute Maid is owned by Coca-Cola, and that I know also, but I knew that from the news article just the other day. I didn't know that more than like 2 days ago. Yeah. All right. Some
Good
hello.
shirt.
We got.
You see that?
Yeah, I saw a good shirt.
It says recovering carboholic, eat meat, drink water.
My name is Jeff, and I'm a carboholic.
Is that a particular person's merch?
I found it on eBay.
On eBay? Okay. All right. Very good. Good find. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows what it means. So you wear it, carboholic. What the hell's that mean?
Yeah.
We know.
All right. How have you been this last week, Pete?
Doing good. I just had a big bone-in ribeye. This thing was massive. Big old bone-in ribeye with a big knife and a big fork.
Mm-hmm.
And put some salt and butter, and that's it.
You ever eat one of those big tomahawk ribeyes?
I have. I ate a tomahawk last year at Kiltsy's meetup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had two, and it took forever to cook. I cooked it on my grill, and but it sure was tasty. It was probably my favorite ribeye I ever had.
I mean, yeah, they're big.
Yeah, nice and big, and it was tender too, and because it was so thick, I had a nice sear on the outside, and it was nice and tender on the inside. I always go for a medium rare. Very good. All right. Well, it's good to have you here. We're talking about heart health as our theme. I know you've had several.
Well, I never had an actual heart issue, but I can tell you that before carnivore, I had gotten so big that I was having trouble breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it felt like I couldn't take a breath, like I couldn't almost take a full, like I was like, like it almost felt like I couldn't catch my breath, and I couldn't walk upstairs. I'd have to stop almost every step. You know what I mean? I'd get winded. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I couldn't walk long distances. Like, I felt like I was 80 years old, I guess is the only way I could explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And, now, you guys know how much I walk. I mean, at my job, I walk 15 to 20,000 steps a day. I'm the fastest walker in the store, at the furniture store where I walk. I sell furniture. I mean, I walk faster than the young people. I'm zipping around. I mean, and I don't get tired at all. I mean, I have energy for miles, and then, when my day's off, I just take long walks with my dog. And, it's like night and day. I mean, I feel like I'm 20. I mean, for anybody, I mean, I know we got a lot of old timers, whatever, carnivores that were preaching to the choir. But if there's anybody in the chat or anybody who watches this and you're at all thinking of improving your health and making a change in your life, man, you heard Jeff's story. I never get tired of hearing Jeff's story. And, there's so many amazing stories. But, yeah, I had major breathing issues, out of breath, zero energy. I was probably on my way to a heart attack or a stroke. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, you mentioned your blood pressure that used to be sky high and all the medications you were on for that.
I was on 3 blood pressure medicines, and even still, I could never get control of the blood pressure. It was always very high. At times I'd be, 180 over 110, 120. That's like stroke level. but routinely it was running, 165 over 100. That's even with the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So now I run right around 120 over 75, or 120 over 80s, which is pretty much textbook perfect with no medicine.
Yes, very good.
I mean,
So
that's a big difference. And I have no breathing trouble whatsoever. My hay fever went away. Like any allergies I had just disappeared. I used to have horrible like hay fever and stuff. That's gone. I mean, and I used to take Zyrtec and Flonase and all these different things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I take none of that. I used to get this Voltaren cream for my knees, for the arthritis in my knees. It felt like bone on bone. I thought I needed 2 knee replacements, and my brother has the same thing, but he won't, he's a doctor. Of course, he won't listen. He's on Ozempic and all the blood pressure medicine, and he's on metformin for diabetes. My sister, same thing. She's a doctor too, and she's, very overweight, and it's a shame. There's nothing much, and she has the high blood pressure and diabetes, but I'm the crazy one. I'm the only, no one wants to listen to me. I'm the guy that eats, is going to die of a heart attack, because he's so irresponsible. I'm so irresponsible, Jeff. And, how could you be eating so much meat and eggs? Don't you know that all that cholesterol is going to kill you?
Yeah, let's not look at the positive things that it's done for us. Don't notice how much weight we've lost. Don't notice how we fixed, in my case, 16 different things that were affecting my health.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on that one little thing, and that's my LDL cholesterol. Yeah.
You mentioned the relatives that are doctors and
Yeah.
their state of health and their size, and it just makes me think of like that Dr. Barry. That's one thing that he says, is that as he became pre-diabetic and got bigger, it actually bothered his conscience. He's like, why would anyone come to me
Right.
for medical advice if this is the way I look and feel? He goes, why would you take medical advice from a fat doctor? And so that's what motivated Dr. Barry, to start doing the research and stumble across keto and carnivore and whatnot, and turn
But
his life around.
unfortunately, they are in love with drugs. That they think that oh, these drugs are fantastic. They're like miracle drugs. Ozempic to them is a miracle drug.
It's all part of the standard of care protocol that they abide by.
Yeah, and they just figure, well, I'm at that age that I need to take all this stuff, and I'm like, they don't want to hear from me. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm irresponsible.
I'm in the same situation, Pete.
You know what I mean?
I've got a sister that's got lymphedema real bad. She's 8 years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
She's got lymphedema terribly bad. She can barely walk.
Right.
And it kills me that she won't do anything about it when she's perfectly capable of doing something about it.
Because she's addicted to what she eats.
Exactly. And nobody wants to put in the work. That's the thing
No.
with everybody here on this panel. We have all put in the work. We're willing
Right.
to do it. Whether it's because we fear death or we just don't like how
Jeff,
miserable we've been.
How many times have you heard someone say, well, I know, I could never give up my bread. I could never give up my juice.
I used to say
I had a very good friend of ours, an older woman that we were actually power of attorney, medical power of attorney for her. And she actually on her birthday last year or the year before last, we went over there, took her card, and a gift, and she actually told me that she had an autoimmune issue. She was having a rash, and it was killing her. I mean, literally just eating her up.
Right.
And it was she told me that it's a good thing she didn't own a gun, because she was so miserable that night before
Let me ask you a question. Was
And,
it
and
was
that
it
scared me.
was it HS?
I don't remember what it was, to be
Because
honest. I'm sorry. I,
Carrie's daughter, his oldest daughter, had this thing called HS, and it's that kind of terrible rash like what you're describing. That's like really painful and horrible. It's
yeah,
called
I don't know. It was real itchy, and then she
yeah,
scratched, and she'd have sores and everything. And it was all over her legs and her arms.
yeah.
Anyways,
Well,
and I don't
well,
remember the name of it.
it also could have been psoriasis, like what Lash has. You know, Lash
Right, right.
could be that.
I know it wasn't called psoriasis, but it was similar to psoriasis, I think. And she told me what it was, and I looked it up, and it is an autoimmune
Right.
issue. And so, I generally don't try to push the way I eat on anybody. But when I saw what kind of shape she is in, and she was talking about, self-eliminating, she
Right.
wasn't serious. She was just being,
Right.
just being mouthy is all she was doing.
Right.
But it was enough that I'm going to step in and I'm going to say something. And
Yeah.
and so I gave her the gospel according to carnivore, and told her all of this is an autoimmune disease, and we can fix this for you.
Right.
If we can't fix it totally, we can darn sure put you in remission and get you better.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and said exactly what you just said, Peter. Oh, I just couldn't give up my hamburgers.
Well, I'm not asking. You know what I would say to her?
I'm through.
You know what I would say to her? I'm not asking you to give up the hamburger. I'm asking you to give up the bun.
Yeah. Well, good point. Good point. But that's just it for her. The hamburger is the bun and the meat and all the stuff on it. And the whole time she's sitting there and she's drinking a Sprite, a fully loaded Sprite,
Right.
full sugar.
Right.
And she's not going to change the way she eats. She's not willing to put in the work. She would rather the doctor do something to fix her, and then complains when the doctor doesn't fix her. Eventually they found a combination of medications that got her through it, and she's doing much better now on that. But she still, she complains about her arthritis and her bad back and blah, blah, blah. Well, when you tell me you're not willing to give up something to help yourself, to fix yourself, there's nothing more I can do for you.
Well, and remember too, people aren't just, if you had told me before I started all this that I could literally cure my bipolar depression and anxiety by changing the food I ate, that'd be it. And I'd be like, what the hell does that food has nothing to do with something in somebody's brain or whatever, right?
Yep.
You wouldn't think that they're at all connected. Same as you wouldn't think that a rash could be changed by food, or whatever the hell it is. Arthritis could be changed by food, because we're not brought up that way. None of us were brought up that way.
Well, we've all been brainwashed by the system.
Yeah, we were brought up that you had to go to the doctor and get some kind of treatment or a drug or something to cure these things.
Yep. Yeah, because that's like you said, that's how we were raised.
Yeah.
We were raised to believe that doctors know it all. They've been to the school. They've learned it all. And it wasn't until I started listening to Ken Berry that I learned that doctors don't know near as much as we think they know. They only know what they've been taught in school by somebody who was taught in school, by somebody who was taught in school, and nobody ever did the research. Nobody ever actually looked at the papers. And it was like, when a doctor says, "Oh no, I've read the research." Have you really? Or did you just read the summary on the front page and the conclusion on the back page, but you never actually looked at the study? And that's what most of them do. Even if they do read a study, they check out the summary, they check out the back of it to see what the conclusion was, and they never actually look at the study.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've learned that thanks to people like Dr. Berry, Dr. Kiltz, and some of these others, that doctors only know what they've been taught, and unless they get out there and look for themselves and do their own studies, their own peer reviews, they're not going to be able to actually tell you the truth because they don't know the truth.
Very good. Well said. Speaking of Dr. Kiltz, he's in the chat tonight.
Bob, you're on mute.
I'm on mute.
No,
I'm not muted.
I can hear.
Oh, you can hear him?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm going to drop out and come back in because something's wrong with my StreamYard.
Okay. All right. And we lost Paul too. So, all right. So very good. Speaking of Dr. Kiltz, he's in the chat tonight. He's got a lot of good things to say. So we'll be bringing up. We'll be bringing up on screen here. He does say it's almost past his bedtime. So we thank you for making the effort to stay up a little bit later than usual and join us tonight. And of course, if you can't make it and you need to go catch some Z's, that's quite all right as well. Bill Cook says, is getting my mitral valve checked Wednesday. All right. Is it for any concern or is it just like a routine thing? Here comes Pete back. All right.
Yeah.
And
What happens like when Paul dropped out, it, for whatever reason, I weird stuff happens. Like I can't hear you and you know, like weird stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. And something froze because when you came back, I had two of you on the screen. I just booted the other one. So
yeah.
All right. Robert Kiltz is getting younger on carnivore.
Yeah, Kiltz dropped into the stream. I don't know if you saw that.
There's Paul.
Yeah, Paul's back. Very good. All right. And anybody else that wants to join us, you are welcome to join us on screen too. It's pinned at the top on YouTube, and I will post it in the chat right now. Go ahead and click that link, and you can join us here on screen and talk to us face to face as well. Target Prime Rib says, I want to get a walking pad so I can walk inside. I would join a gym, but the closest one is about 10 minutes by car, and an Uber is $30 a day, so I walk the track. Yeah, okay. If that'll work for you. I've got a treadmill over here, and I tend to ignore it. I'm not very enthused with it. And I don't know. I bought it. It's a cheap one, and I brought it up here on the second floor, and it's actually very loud. So like you try and run on it when people are in the house, and everybody knows what's going on upstairs. So maybe it needs to go in the basement where it'll be quieter, and then I'll feel a little better about running on it. I just want the good weather to come, mostly. Target Prime Rib also makes a good comment that's very on topic for our topic tonight. We were talking about why carnivore is good for the heart. He says, I think it is good because most damage is an effect of inflammation, and carnivore helps reduce inflammation.
That's a perfect point. That's exactly what my cardiologist told me when everything started getting better, when he was starting to see me improve. And he never once, I told him how I ate. I'm honest with my doctors. I don't BS them. I don't lie to them, and I don't hide nothing from them. I want them to know exactly what's going on, and I want them to document it. And I was, when I told him, how good I was doing, and he'd already taken me off the medication, and he was the one that told me, what's happening right now in you is you are reducing the inflammation in your chest, and that's why your heart is getting better. And so, Target Prime Rib is spot on with that statement.
Yeah, very good. So that's number one on my bullet list, by the way, that we're going to go through throughout the course of the evening. Reduction in inflammation is numero uno when it comes to the carnivore diet and how it benefits your heart health. And Dr. Kiltz has joined us on the screen. How are you doing today, Dr. Kiltz?
Spectacular. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can make it. And then suddenly I looked at the time and you're already live. So here I am. I said, I got to come on. Love listening. Enjoyed this so far.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we get behind on the comments, as I said. So we've got a lot of good comments that you brought up here. Some of the recent ones I starred. I really liked. Who was it? Okay, so Jemet, we were talking. So we'll start from here. Tom was talking about feeling a little bit down, and Jemet mentioned that the brain controls the body. If I say I will be happy and healthy today, it seems to work, and pray every day. And then Dr. Kiltz here piggybacks on that. Every thought creates everything. I am happy, healthy, and well this and every day for sure. And
attitude.
That's attitude.
Yeah.
That's something that you call mindset.
Mindset.
Not a lot. You gotta come into this with a positive thought. Try and wake up every day thinking in the positive, and things will go better than if you wake up with this gloom and doom outlook. So mindset is very key here.
I think it's mindset is everything when it comes to changing your lifestyle with something like this. By eating different, your mindset is what sets the pace for everything.
Yeah, and you wrote a book on mindset, right?
I wrote a book on daily intentions. So probably about 25 years ago, I started in on positivity. I went to a Tony Robbins retreat, and I read The Secret, and sort of a lot of these other things helped me a lot. Found Jesus Christ, and it really helped tremendously. And interesting enough, when I went carnivore, it just like even exploded even better. And I'm convinced that a lot of my problems growing up, migraines, depression, and even inability to read, were all related to the diet that damaged every part of my body, my ability to read, migraines, bowel problems, and so it really is amazing how this diet really reduces the damage to every part of our body. And again, I think the mindset matters, but when you combine it with carnivore and Christ, like to me, that has been the game changer for me, as much or more than anything.
They can build upon each other.
Yeah,
they really
I
do.
agree. I think that because I used to have my mental problems, my negative thoughts, and had them for quite a bit of my life. But I do find now that I've been on a carnivore diet that my head is clearer, and it's easier now to not get caught up in that negative thinking. It's easier now to be positive throughout the day than it had been previously. So I definitely think, what we've been putting into our bodies, it affects the mind. And now that I've cleaned that up, my mind functions a lot better as well.
Can I make a comment? You said something about, I think it was Geezy made the comment about doctors not reading the papers and things like that. The real biggest problem, number one, is we go into medicine because we're attracted to the symbology of what it is. And you're taught the science that this is correct science. And this is how we define and treat the diseases. And they want you to be authoritative in your nature in order to succeed in medical school, in the hospitals, in the rounds, and how you sort of, it's a system where you succeed because you follow the message. And we believe in the studies. These are correct 100%. And we criticize others in the profession. We're very sort of critical. We're not open to new and different ideas. And much of the science, maybe most of it, is propagated by the companies that sell the products, especially the pharmaceuticals. And we know the food industry and tobacco industry, it's all propagated by marketing. And so our problem is we were lied to. And in order to continue to get your license, you have to follow what the standard of care is. And I've been chastised because I don't follow many of these things. And so it could be a problem for a lot of colleagues who are worried about the licensure and practicing. One of the hospitals told me I couldn't talk about this stuff. So that's a real problem, but I agree with you.
Yeah, look what they did with Sean Baker.
Absolutely.
They tried to take his license. It's terrible that they live in fear, of losing their license, and it's fear born of ignorance, and that's just a crying shame. I'll tell you right now, I appreciate doctors like you, Baker, Barry, Chafee, who are critical thinkers, who are willing to go out there and look for what the truth is, and not just accept what's written on paper, but actually delve into the studies and look at them critically, and then report that back to us, for us that are, for us uneducated people. I appreciate you guys. I just want to thank you for that.
Well, it's, the knowledge that we learned in medical school, in the massive libraries and the publications, are in this device, and you can garner it in about 2 seconds. And now with AI, I mean, you don't even have to, it all comes to you. But I had to pay a lot of money to get access. And today, and this is why I love social media. I learned carnivore and keto from social media. I didn't learn from any of the doctors and stuff. So it took me a while. I kept on trying to wrap my brain around it, because my belief system said this, but we're over here. And so it took me a while, because I know the answers. I know more than you do. So don't argue with me.
Right. Oh yeah, I went through that with my primary care physician. He caught quite the attitude with me when I refused to take a certain jab during a certain time, and I tried to educate him as best I could, and it didn't go over real good.
Well, that's what happened with me with my primary care doctor with a statin, and he started chastising me. Same with when I told him I went off my high blood pressure, 3 medicines. I told him, yeah, I'm off all 3 of them. He looked like he saw a ghost. He said, how could you do that without talking to me? And he started really getting angry with me. And I said, why don't you take out your, what do you call that? Blood, the cuff. I said, why don't you check my blood pressure? And so he pulls it out, and it's not the one you wrap around their arm, the electronic. I said, I want you to do it the old fashioned way, with the old pump up deal. He comes over and he pumps it up, and he goes, and it goes, as the air comes out of it, he goes, I said, well, what is it? He goes, 120/75. I said, okay, now do you have anything else to say about me going off all 3 of my blood pressure medicines? And he goes, well, your cholesterol's really high. And it started going, I'm like, okay. So
always got to pull that card, don't they?
All I said to him, I said, look, here's what I want you to do. Just go into your computer and just write down that I respectfully decline the statin, and you put it in that you prescribed it, right? That you did. I know you got to follow your care, whatever care thing, right? And I said, just say that I declined to take it. Okay. And please, if you could just not ask me again, and then we'll all be good. You're covered with your company. And you know what? He hasn't asked me since.
It's just amazing. Yeah. In my case, all right, I had 2 cardiologists. My regular cardiologist, who I started seeing after I developed atrial fibrillation. And then I had the one, we called him the electrician. He was the one that did the cardiac ablation on me. And so I was seeing both of them. And then I had my primary care. Neither of my cardiologists ever once talked against my diet. None of them ever suggested a statin. None of them ever cared about my cholesterol. The only one that was bothered by it was my primary care physician. And when I would refuse to go on a statin, he said, well, I'm going to send these results to your cardiologist. Acting like he's going to tell my mommy on me, was his attitude. And I said, go ahead. They have already accepted everything I do because they have seen the improvement. My electrician cardiologist, he actually dropped me as a patient because he says, in his words, his exact words, quote unquote, you have done more to heal yourself than anything I could have done for you.
Ooh.
He says, you don't need to see me anymore. And then my other cardiologist, my regular one, he says, I agree. Come see, I just want to see you once a year. I want to see you once a year just for checkup, just see how things are going. And that's it.
And your AFib is gone, right? Your AFib is gone.
Yeah, it's totally reversed. I'll have a little bit of a flutter once a week, maybe once a month. I barely even notice it. And I don't think it's an electrical issue. I think it's just a PVC because I've had those most of my life since I've been an adult.
Right.
And
you don't take any medicine?
None. Zero. I'm 69 years old, brother, and I don't take nothing.
Wow.
Nothing at all.
Wow.
So, it was just funny. Here, my cardiologists, 2 of them, had no issues whatsoever with what I was doing. But my PCP did. Now, I've got a theory on this, and I don't know. Maybe Dr. Kills has experienced something like this, but my PCP was, and I don't have him anymore. I've changed doctors, but my PCP at that time was a white doctor, and he went to LSU where he got his doctorate at. Both my cardiologists were American-born Indians, and for some reason I seem to find, and not the ones born in India, but the American-born Indians seem to have a different mindset when it comes to, they seem to be more open, shall I say, to how they treat you versus the white doctors that are brought up, or the standard American doctors that have been brought up this way all their lives. These guys seem to be more accepting of trying different things. And I don't know if that's just me seeing it that way, or if that's really true or not.
It could be that more Eastern philosophy, acupuncture, meditation, right, Dr. Kiltz?
Absolutely. Deepak.
Yeah, I get labeled all the time. I'm a non-conforming patient. Non-conforming.
You and
Yes,
Mitch.
you are.
You and Mitch.
And then in my summary that they give me, it says ongoing health issues. Okay. Things I need to be aware of. Patient eats a ketogenic diet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's so terrible for a diabetic, isn't it?
So if I may just interject, my cardiologist, because my father had heart disease, my sister had heart disease, my sister had diabetes. She died of heart failure at 52. My dad lived to 93 after a bypass, but I have a 600 CAC score, went up to 700, 800, no symptoms, clear as a bell, and they wanted me to put me on a statin, but he was okay if I didn't, and because I have my family, everyone has high cholesterol, but they live a long time. My grandmother to 104, but I was getting calls from patients of his because he was referring them to me for carnivore diet. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and he was accepting of that, and he just wants to follow me, and I'm okay.
So in a similar situation as both of you described, particularly Jeff, it's my PCP who retired. So actually I'm in the market for a new one, but he's the only one that really has an issue with my carnivore diet. I see a nephrologist for my chronic kidney disease. I have late stage renal disease. He has no problem with the carnivore diet. In fact, when I first met him in 2019, he said I needed to start eating more protein because I was spilling so much in my urine. So the carnivore diet kind of fits right in with that. And then I recently saw an endocrinologist, again, because the PCP had an issue with my cholesterol and had an issue that I refused his prescription for a statin. So he referred me to an endocrinologist, and I went to talk to her actually just for the experience, really. And she had no problem with my carnivore diet either. And that actually was like super cool, because I was like, I'm not taking a statin. I'm really not concerned. And we have really no data to work with, and I told her how I ate, and she's like, oh, that's fine. No pressure to change my diet or eat fruits and vegetables or anything like that. So it's interesting that the specialists in our lives, both mine and in Jeff's, seem to not have an issue with the carnivore diet, but yet the primary care physician is the one that has the meltdown. And mine was Middle Eastern too, because when we switched doctors in like 2008, I intentionally sought out a Middle Eastern doctor because I felt the same way. It seemed like that they were more reasonable. But once I got on this carnivore diet, he became more, at first, unreasonable, and then he kind of cooled off. We kind of got more agreeable towards the end, but for a while there, we were really butting heads. But I didn't have any problems with my specialists. They're completely okay with the carnivore diet. Got no flack whatsoever.
Bob, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did your doctors for your kidney disease have a drug that fixed your kidney disease?
That will fix it? No.
Did they give you a drug that fixed your kidney disease?
No, they did not.
Right. And I kind of asked the doc, I said, well, so you can predict what's going to happen to me versus giving me this drug or not. And he said, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is really, we're going back to the pharmacologic and medical literature that is highly propagandized. Mm-hmm. And the way they give the statistics makes you think that the benefits are so great of taking these things when in fact they're very small or not at all. And there's a lot of manipulation. That's kind of why I decided, and wait a minute. I mean, I just had a friend at 65 die after a month of not feeling well. The doctors kept on saying, we can't figure it out. And, about a week ago, he walked in the ER and he died in the ER of heart failure, or heart attack, essentially. And yet a month of playing around, they couldn't figure it out. And I don't think we're very good in preventive care, and our acute care, unfortunately, comes with a lot of complications. And I know in my fertility world, many people fail treatment, and it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and insurance mostly doesn't cover it, and they're failing. And the complications, they're there, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. I talked to others, like in different kidney disease communities, like on Reddit and stuff, and there are drugs, Farxiga and a couple other ones that are prescribed for kidneys, and a lot of people are on them. But my nephrologist has never suggested any of these drugs. He's happy with what I'm doing. So the only thing we work together on is trying to keep my blood pressure under control. So, and outside of that, he's never offered me anything. And I've read up on these drugs too, and they sound like any other drug, like may help, might, but also could have all these zillion side effects. And I just don't see really the point in it. But I've been able to maintain my kidney function with a carnivore diet. So there's what else can I do? What else can I do? I'm doing what I think is all I can do. So
I solved my blood pressure problem.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped measuring it.
Yeah.
Because every time I measured it,
yeah,
so I stopped measuring it, and then I was almost doing something completely different. I would measure it, and then I would just relax for 15 minutes, measure it again. So I believe I have white coat syndrome. Because it's like every time I go through the airport security, I think they're going to arrest me. So my heart rate goes up. I think they're going to find me for something that, I didn't know about. So I think there are a lot of people that their heart rate goes up, their stress levels go up when they go to the doctor. I mean, it isn't a fun experience. It isn't a calming experience.
Right. Yeah. I check mine at home. So, but,
It's better. Yeah.
yeah. No, but mine's high because of organ damage. Kidneys really help play a part in that. So, and it's like a catch-22. Like, so when I'm averaging 180 over 120, that's no good because that kind of pressure will help the kidneys deteriorate even more. So I kind of have to get medical help to get mine down. So carnivore did do it originally. Yeah. And you know my story, I did originally fix my blood pressure with carnivore, but then when my doctor gave me that phenofibrate for triglycerides, that just tanked my kidneys even more. I should have never taken it. Rick is in the house. How you doing, Rick?
Yeah, good. We were just having a big fire, but it was a good fire.
All right. Good.
Was you roasting some iguana?
No, sadly not. But we did have steaks and burgers and all the things that we do with my friends. And I was just telling it about the great time I had because a friend of mine says, "Oh, did you survive your meetup?" I said, "Not only did I survive, but I came back happier than ever." It was quite an experience.
Rick, I heard you were quite the celebrity there.
No, the celebrity there is right over here on the,
bottom right. On my view, it's the bottom right.
There you go. Well, wherever it is,
Okay.
that's, and the thing is, I have two friends that are 70 years old. If they just could do what Dr. Kiltz could do, I think their lives would be so much happier. They say, well,
I'm not 70 yet. 1 month.
Well, in a month, okay? It's a formality.
Yeah.
Well, look at Jeezy. Look at Jeezy. He's 69 too. He's right there. And look at him.
4 months for me.
He has
Looks
no
great.
medicine, no
Paul?
more AFib.
Same. But looking great.
Yeah.
Feeling great.
Yep.
And I'm voting Rick as Mr. Rick. So Mr. Rogers of the carnivore world.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned that. Anyone that knows me knows that I've mentioned that several times. I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Well, when I was at the airport in Atlanta, there was this big picture of Mr. Rogers. I'd never seen this one, and I'm like, there's Rick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I joke with everyone. If Mr. Rogers was a carnivore, there it is.
I put the link up for Kiltz's Mighty Tribe. That's his community. They just had a meetup in Florida. That's what they're talking about.
Rick, didn't they say that when you were a teacher, they also called you Mr. Rogers?
Yes, they did. When I was teaching at Miami-Dade College, they used to say that, "Oh, that Rick guy, he's really smart, but he reminds me of Mr. Rogers."
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
And how many years ago was that?
That was 2000 to like 2013.
Wow.
The most easygoing, nicest guy in the world, my friend Rick.
40? How many years carnivore?
42 years.
Wow.
And then look at the guy that's been doing it for 15 years and how friendly and how interesting he is. Just being around him, watching him in his environment, it's like, this is my kind of guy. We had a lot more in common than I ever realized.
Really?
Yes.
Say mother.
I don't know. It's the same mother, but it's the same genetics of some kind.
Mother Mary.
Oh, there you go.
Right. Mother Mary, come to me.
Yeah, no, it was such a great time, and that's why I love these meetups. Are we gonna do one in Ohio hopefully again? And I don't know,
I can help with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Ollie knows the dates of things, but that's we got to all get together again. That's what this is all about. We're community, family, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, it was nice to when I met you in Columbus. That was my first in-person meetup because I wanted to attend one to see what they're like because I want to host one up here because there's literally never one in Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. And I got a lot of names and numbers of people from like Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Michigan who might be interested. And so the Cleveland area might be a decent area to draw people from around here. And so yeah, it's something that I'd like to put on the calendar and get in the works, get in the
I
planning
was pretty
stages
lucky. My first meetup was November of 2024. I met Kiltsy, Dr. Nelson, Kerry, and Mitch all at the same meetup. Amazing.
Not only did I get to meet Mitch, but I get to eat with him.
Wow.
We were at the end of the table.
Wow.
Mitch is better in person, trust me.
And we
Yes,
all had a
he
cigar
is.
with him.
He is.
Or at least we sat around and hung out with the cigars.
Well, that's what we did at the first meetup last year. We sat around and we had cigars at Kiltsy's out on the water.
I had them for you, but next time.
I know. If I didn't have this new job, I just couldn't get the days off.
We got another one. We'll do more.
Okay.
We'll do more. And Bob, you create the date or talk to Ollie and we'll create a date and love to be there.
I have some serious FOMO. I had some FOMO, fear of missing out.
I know. We all do. It's like, damn, can I change this one way or another? My grandson's turning 1 a week from tomorrow.
And Kiltsy, my granddaughter's turning 1 on the 27th.
There we go. Amazing.
And I got a bun in the oven for August, a boy. We're having another one.
I'm working on that.
Jamet asks, has anyone heard from Bill Knott praying his foot gets better? I'm not aware of this situation.
I haven't heard.
Yeah. And we have a question. I'm skipping ahead. I still have some back questions starred. We'll go back to eventually, but here's one from Cindy Hunter. What happens when your LDL is in the 400s? My doctors are screaming for me to take a statin and I'm afraid of them. So,
mine was like 340 and like, I mean, the doctor almost had a conniption. He was like, he thought I was going to die.
Mine's in the 400s. So this is exactly my scenario here. It was probably last May. I tested my total cholesterol breached 400, and for him that was the cutoff point. Now we needed a statin, and then I needed to go. And when I refused, then I needed to go see the endocrinologist. And prior to that, I discovered butter bites, and so I was making and eating butter bites like all the time. So
beautiful.
That might have kicked it up temporarily. It's come back down since then. LDL's in the lower 200s, so cholesterol's around 300 now. But so what happens? Nothing.
So I just want to say something. Dr. Bart K interviewed a heart surgeon a couple days ago. You guys got to watch the video. His name is Dr. Terry Simpson. He's American. And he was going on and on about how LDL and cholesterol is the reason for heart disease and all of the atherosclerosis. Did you guys see this?
I saw it.
And they went around and around, and Dr. Barquet kept saying over and over, there is absolutely zero no proof, no studies that prove in any way, shape, or form that LDL or even a fraction of LDL in any way, shape, or form has anything to do with it. And the guy kept going, and he was going into familial high, cholesterol. He was reaching for every, thing that they have.
If somebody talks like that and they say, well, your LDL's going to be a problem, then they just get crossed off my list. It's one of the 10 things I don't listen to them no more. If they're going to talk LDL, I'm not interested. If they're going to talk red meat causes cancer, well, shield up. I'm not listening.
Oh, the latest one I've seen on two videos I've seen lately, 2 or 3 now. They're back on the red meat carnivore diets causing diabetes.
Well, that was Maria Emmerich. That Bart K also showed that video too.
Yeah, and I watched that one. That was the one I watched, and I'm like, I lasted about 10 minutes.
What is the matter with her?
Stand listening to her.
I'm serious. The thing they said, well, fat raises your insulin. It raises your blood sugar. Fat raises blood sugar. That's what they said.
You can't make this stuff up.
No.
And so I commented I commented, right? And they wrote me back and said, well, I'm a denier. I'm, every type 1 diabetic knows that fat raises blood sugar. Okay. And I go, and they were animate about it, both of them. And I'm like, where do they get this from?
I don't know.
Cindy, follow-up comment. She says, thanks for answering her question about the LDL over 400 potential statin. Doc wants to do a CAC. That's neither a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, it would give you some data. What you do with that data, could vary. Your CAC could be 0. It could be like Dr. Kiltz's. He's got some numbers that
700, 800.
Not something ideal, but he's not that concerned about it. So it is what it is.
Why worry?
And most of us here, I'm going to get a CAC. That's one of the things I told my endocrinologist. I'm going to go get a CAC because here in Cleveland they're free, and then we'll have some. Maybe then we'll actually have something to discuss, because right now there's nothing to discuss. Even then, I don't know if we'll have something to discuss. Because I'm 50, and if I've got any calcification in my arteries, it could have been from any time over the previous 50 years, not necessarily the last 3
Correct.
that I've been on
Exactly.
carnivore. So that still doesn't really give us any data to work with. So if you get a CAC score, if you get a number that's not 0, that might feed into your paranoia or your fear. So just be aware of that. So if you want one for curiosity's sake, great, but when you get a result that's not one you don't like, don't let that work your head too much. Okay, so that even that's just a single snapshot, and what you would want to do maybe is wait a year and get it again and see if monitor it that way, see if there's any changes. Then you kind of give a better idea of things. But just a single snapshot in time isn't really going to tell you much, other than you have a CAC score of something,
Which brings to mind semi-retired Bob. If you listen to his heart information and his carnivore diet and the improvements in his heart, they're off the chart. It's like a rocket ship. It's like some alien came down and operated on him, and he's beautiful now. Okay. All his heart parameters just keep improving. And his cardiologist is like, okay, I've never seen this before. And, that guy should be the poster child for February.
Well, does anybody know my story about the last time I went to a doctor in 1996? What he told me?
Why don't you go ahead and refresh us? I don't think I know this. I don't think I know, and a lot of people watching might not know. So go ahead and tell us.
Is that doctor still alive?
No. As far as I know, he's dead, and I heard he died of a heart attack. Really?
Oh, it's not
something
matter,
you should
but
laugh
I get it.
But the thing is, he told me when I was age 28, he said that I had the highest cholesterol he had ever seen in a 28-year-old. And by the time I was 55, I would have already had a heart attack or other heart disease or stroke. Says that if I didn't do something about the cholesterol, that it was going to destroy me. And I'm going to be 58 in a few months, and I'm still going. Anyone that's met me knows I don't have the symptoms of heart disease. I have lots of energy. I feel really good. If you've watched me ride my bike, you know that I don't take it easy. I was working today on 2 of those Bobcat hydraulic motors. These things weigh like 120 pounds, and I pick them up and I put them in the truck and back and forth. And my friend just looks at me like, how in the world can you still do that? So what does the cholesterol mean? It doesn't, I don't believe it. I don't care.
Ever since modern medical science has gotten in the way, which seems to me we're getting sicker, the cost of healthcare, more bankruptcy, and the modern nutritional recommendations, healthy diet. It's basically domesticating humans and making us slaves.
That's it. Yeah. Feed them duck food.
Well, here's how I look at it. If my CAC, I never had a CAC, But if I did, and let's say it was 600 to 800, Kelsey, just like yours. Let's say it was the same. Okay. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay. Whatever's done is done. I feel fine. And like Mitch said, I'm doing everything I know how to do to be healthy. I'm eating the best possible way I can possibly, do. I walk a lot, right? I eat a clean, carnivore pretty much. I mean, 90%, whatever. I'm doing everything I possibly can. There's nothing I could possibly do. All it's going to do is scare me. You know what I mean? What's the point? I don't care if my CAC is 1,000 or it's 600, okay, or 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing everything that I know how to do, and I wouldn't change a thing. There's nothing I would do to change. So what's the point?
Exactly. That's what I told my PCP when he suggested a CAC score. He said, well, if you're not going to take a statin, at least get a CAC. And I says, you going to pay for it? Because down here, we ain't like in Ohio. Down here in Texas, it's going to cost me over $300. I'm not going to spend the money on it. And I told him, I says, what difference would it make? It's not going to change how I eat, because how I eat is the best thing for my heart. So it doesn't matter what the score is. I'm not going to change anything.
That's what I'm saying.
The diagnostic testing world is a $1 trillion business also. And there's a lot of false information we get from it. And I know a friend of mine gave me a Christmas gift of a CAC score. He said, oh, here, get your CAC score. And I'm like, and then I get it. I'm like, why did I do it? And then I did it a second time because it's like, oh, you better check it. I'm like, oh, gosh. And then I was going to start eating broccoli. So I ate salmon and I said, forget it. I'm done. And that's when I'm like, you know what? You're going down. You're taking the fear, even me, who's pretty good at it. I was like, okay, enough of that, because they do not have any ability to truly predict what's going to happen to me.
Nothing.
They don't know.
They have no idea.
Right.
Listen, all I'm going to tell you is my grandmother lived to be 103 and a half. She was a little Russian lady. She was fat. She was short. She was 4'11", Goldie Cutler, okay, from Russia. She was born. She doesn't even have a birth certificate. She was born in Russia in 1892, approximately 1892. She died in 1996, almost 104. She ate eggs every single morning, fried in butter. Okay, this is true. She ate tons of fatty brisket and chicken in a pot, the whole thing with the skin and the bones and the chicken cooked in chicken schmaltz, the chicken fat. She ate the fattiest cuts. She did not like sweets. She was not into the sweets. She didn't eat the processed foods. She did have a little bit of, the potatoes in the pot and the carrots and the onions and a little celery. Okay. None of that did anything to hurt her. Okay. But that's what she ate. And guess what? She was fat. Like Dr. Kilt said, obesity is not your issue. She was like 200 pounds and 4'11". Okay. I mean, boobs down to her waist. Okay. And she lived to be, and she had her mind till the day she died. She could talk to you about walking down the streets in Russia where there was gas lights and horse-drawn carts. Okay. She could remember all of it, So what does that tell you? That fat is not your enemy. Fat is your friend. Eggs and meat and fatty meat is what she lived on.
Yep.
So that's where I go. When anyone says anything to me, I just tell my story about my grandmother. And that works for me.
Like your grandma.
My grandma lived 104. Yep. She smoked Pall Malls and drank Manhattans. An Italian lady, short and stocky, and
right.
ate Mediterranean, but lots of fatty eggs and things like that also.
Yeah. Well, and I like what you say, Doctor. We can't predict the future. The doctor can't predict it. Everybody, and I say this all the time, everybody has a different physiology. What works for me doesn't work for the next guy. We don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know several people online that have contacted me through because of my interviews that I've done 4 interviews, and it's always centered around my atrial fibrillation. And I know people that have atrial fibrillation that carnivore has not fixed it. I'm sorry.
Right.
It fixed mine. I know others it has fixed. We are all different. I think sometimes, depending on how long we've had a certain situation or a certain ailment, I think sometimes our body just gets so broken that our metabolism just won't heal anymore in that area. You know?
Well, and also just remember too, Kerry Mann, he fixed his irregular heartbeat lifetime since a kid, and he had congestive heart failure. It's all gone. Now, for whatever reason, he was able to reverse it, but I know people who have not been able to reverse it with carnivore. It depends how much damage is done. Just like Thomas, who was here a minute ago, you know, he's having trouble getting off the insulin. He's getting lower and lower, but for him, it hasn't been completely gone. And same with Paul right here, Paul down below me. Paul is, you know, he's damaged the, the beta cells in his pancreas to the point where he may have to take insulin for the rest of his life. I mean, even though he's on carnivore, right, Paul?
Yeah, it's, you know, we're going to find out here pretty soon. We're going to do the enzyme test, going to do the C-peptide test.
And you have LADA, right? LADA?
It could be, and I don't have a confirmed diagnosis on that. And
okay.
You know, we got 2 problems in this world. One is pollution, okay? And by pollution, I mean not only how we've polluted our soil and waters, but also how we've polluted our food. Some of the preservatives we put into food are horrible for you. The whole bromide family, you don't want to go near that stuff, okay? So I live in the Amish heartland here, and I wanted to buy some organic Amish grain. So I have an Amish guy I'm fairly friendly with, and I said, I'd like to buy some of your wheat. And he says, well, what do you want to do? I says, I just want to grind it, and I want to make some bread out of it, and I want to see what it does to my blood sugar compared to regular bread. I just want to see. And he says, oh, okay. So he took a paper bag, and I probably got about 4 or 5 pounds of wheat from him, and I got a grinder. I'm going to grind it, and just an academic exercise, you know. And their philosophy is so different. Okay, they believe that God put these cows on the planet, the chickens, the pigs, the ducks. They were put here for us, and we're to give them a good life, send them to heaven in a peaceful manner, and etc. And they just have a different view on things. And they're not the healthiest people in the world because they don't eat a carnivore diet, and they love their sugar.
Yes,
okay?
They do.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why some of them will get all their teeth pulled out. Every 20 years old, pull every tooth.
They live a happy life. They live a happy life.
They have here's their philosophy. What did I do bad today? Or how could I have done better today? Okay, tomorrow I'll try to improve that just a little bit. Okay? And then the next day, same thing. They kind of go through this thing at night. Okay, tomorrow I'll do that just a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'll speak a little more kindly to my son, or whatever the issue is that they think they got. They're very and they're so, you know, they got this sense of humor that I find charming. Okay, it's just but here the University of Maryland has come into Lancaster and has gone through the Amish people because they're looking for people who don't get heart disease naturally. And they have found a few families that have these genetics, they don't get heart disease. And they think that these people are a key to developing a medicine.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm serious. So, and these Amish people have given up blood, tissue samples, biopsies, okay? And
Man, oh man.
they're all stored in a big freezer in University of Maryland Medical School.
They should do this to Rick. Rick, we got to get your blood. Rick, we got to get your blood.
Let's dissect Rick.
Dr. Kills?
Gentlemen, I've got to go. I appreciate this. Thank you for having me on. And you guys have a great evening. And again, thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
joining
joining
us.
us.
You have a
All
good
right,
night.
see you guys. All right,
Yep.
bye everyone. Take care.
Go
You
ahead.
know,
No,
I
I think
wish
we
I did.
take Rick's blood. Rick, we got to get a Petri dish, and we're going to add some duck fat.
Cindy mentions that she's been carnivore for 10 and a half years. She's the one that was worried, her doctor was worried about the 400 LDL and asked about the CAC score. 10 and a half years carnivore. So that's
Wow,
amazing.
where have she been hiding?
Very good. Hemoglobin
Got us all
A1C is
beat. Well, except for Rick.
5.6. So that's good.
Got me beat by 7.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going on 3 years, and it's about 3 more months. 3 more months to go.
Yeah, I'm 3 years and a few weeks.
Jeff just crossed 1,000 days last week.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good. Let's see here. My comments are out of order here. Let me look for it. Bill Cook says the mitral doesn't shut all the way. That's why he's having that looked at. Oh, where am I? Here we go. Is it not possible that the CAC machine operator is not putting the sensor in the right places? I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer this question. I've never had
I
one
have
done.
read that the
I don't even know how
CAC
it's done.
technician dependent and machine dependent.
Right. I was going to say that. You know, you can't. You could go to one machine, it gives you 600, and you go right down the street to a different operator with a different machine, and it could be 800. So, you know, and you think, oh my God. And no, I just did it 10 minutes ago down the street. So,
Right.
you know, but that's what it freaks people out. And
That's
so,
interesting if there's that much margin of error. But from what I understand, what you want is a 0. And if you have anything but a 0, I guess you're going to get some flack from your cardiologist, maybe. So.
but like Bob, what I was saying is, and Jeff agrees with me. What's the difference if it's 1,000? Let's say it comes back and it's 1,200. Okay, 1,500. Okay,
I already
everything
answered that.
I possibly can.
I already answered that.
Huh?
I already answered that.
What?
I said the single snapshot in time really wouldn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. You know, so when I go get my CAC score,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm going to do because I like stats, I like to know. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's 0, if it's 100, if it's 1,000, it still doesn't tell me anything because that number could have been my number for a decade and has no reflection on my last 3 years on a carnivore diet. I wouldn't know. So, Paul, I'm going to mute you again. When you want to talk, just unmute yourself. But still got feedback from you. So, yeah. So you know, it's you can get the CAC score, and like I said, it's okay now you know. But then, what do you do with that information? Most people, if it's not 0, they're gonna worry, and so that might not be good for you either. Bacon Runner says my total LDL was 551. Or total was 551. LDL was 409 in May. Came down to 159 in December. So from 409 to 159. Yes, son.
I just have to let you know that Abby's cousin is in the chat. She's the one that keeps calling you Bub.
Oh, okay. Someone calling me Bub. Oh, I see. Lexosaurus. Okay. That's my son's girlfriend's cousin. Okay. We see you, Lexosaurus. All right. So the reason I highlighted this comment is because LDL can vary. Or cholesterol can vary. So, you know, Cindy was mentioning hers is over 400. at the time you got that blood serum lipid panel. And you could go back in a week and it could be 350. You could go back in a month and it could be, 150.
Well, how about this? I went from an LDL of 350, and then about a year, not even a year later, I went in and it was 164.
Mm-hmm.
It went from 350 to 164, and then the most recent one that I did was about 250 to 164.
All right, Lewis, I muted you. When you're ready to speak, unmute yourself. Or if you're able to. Okay, yeah.
I got
was
you.
getting,
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can. That actually sounds better. I was getting some feedback
No,
before.
I had to get my AirPods were flying.
Okay.
Oh, I hear an echo. Okay, I got it back. How's it going?
Okay. All right, good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
You
Sounds
sound
good.
great. You sound great now. So
This is I'm good. This is an interesting topic because my CAC score is not 0.
What is it?
So my CAC score, I had 2 because, like Bob was saying, a single reading, is whatever. So when I was 39, I had a score of like 130,
Right.
and when I got it again a year later, it had increased 70% in 1 year.
is that to about 200?
And yeah.
And change,
So-
200 and change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, right. Yeah. Who cares about CAC score? I'm 42 years old and my CAC score seems to be increasing, right. But who cares? Right.
Oh, it's not 700.
Not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
Well, that's where
So
Dr.
what do I do?
It's
Listen,
700,
it's one thing I told Dr. Kells this. It's one thing to be 70 years old and have a CAC score of 500. I'm 42 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my CAC score like increasing? By multiples. I don't know.
Well, I want to ask Rick. I want to ask Rick
Yeah.
a question. Rick, I've
Yeah.
got a serious question for you.
All right.
So let's say I paid for a CAC score for you, and you decided you were going to say, "Just do it, just to humor me." I said, "I'm going to buy you this birthday present," and it came back at 4,000. I'm dead serious. Hold on. Are you going to change the way you eat?
No.
Are you worried?
No.
Okay, so there's my answer. My answer is, what the heck does it matter whether you go in and it's 1,000 today, Bob, and then a year from now it's 1,500, and then 2 years from now it's 3,000? If Rick the Duckman's not changing how easy,
I think it's safe to say that having this number be elevated is not good, right? Because we have people that have been eating this way for many years with CAC scores of 0. We have people that have not been eating this way for years and have led lives that were not ideal, and they still have 0. And I know why my score is not 0. I've abused my body, diabetes, all that stuff. But I don't know. What do I do? I'm not saying I'm going to go back to eating carbs. That's not the answer either. But I don't know. And then there's so many other things that Dr. Ovadia talks about, mold and this and that. It's hard to navigate this. I don't have unlimited money to get medical care outside of insurance. It's hard. It's frustrating.
I live with mold.
You do. You do.
My house is loaded with it.
That was just one example I was giving. So
Rick,
I'm repeating the test in June, a year and a half after my last one. Even with 2 points, it could have been that I was coming around a curve, leveling out. The third point will give me a little bit better picture. But
So Rick, would you add back in some carbs and duck food if you're 4,000?
What good is that going to do? The only thing I care about is that I'm strong enough and my mind works good enough to get things done. And if I feel good and I'm going to have a heart attack, that's kind of what I'm looking for. As long as I can make, as long as I'm happy, I don't feel like I'm limited in any way. I'm not handicapped. I don't get out of breath. You've seen me on my bicycle. I'm a maniac. I'm over there moving heavy parts. I'm going to put an engine in my truck. I can do all these things. Eating duck food isn't going to make it any better because I'm going to get sick. I eat duck food, I'm going to get diarrhea. I'm going to feel lousy, no energy. What's the option? I just have to keep eating carnivore. I'm going to die. You're going to die. Everyone here is going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. So why not enjoy the ride while you're here?
I love that.
Very nice.
Enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the ride. So, Lexosaurus says, "What's up? What is a carnivore diet?" Okay, so a carnivore diet is a diet. Diet means lifestyle or eating pattern, where all you eat is animal products. So you don't eat any plants of any kind. No sugar, no grains, no vegetables, no fruits. You literally eat only animal products. And
No
it sounds,
bread.
if you haven't heard of that before, it does sound a little strange, but there are cultures that have been doing this for thousands of years. And one that we like to point out is the Inuit up in the Arctic. They're the ones that build the igloos. Okay. They can't grow any vegetation up there. And for centuries, they were isolated from the rest of human society, and they survived completely 100% on an animal diet. And they don't have many of the modern diseases that, say, Americans get. And there's a whole slew of reasons why you might want to avoid plant foods. And this is really kind of opening the floodgates, as it were. But most plants have toxins in them. Plants produce self-defense chemicals to deter bugs and other creatures from eating them. And if you overconsume them, those toxins can build up in your system too, and that leads to chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, and arthritis and other issues. And so what many of us have found, those up on the screen here that you're watching right now, plus millions of others, there's millions of people doing a carnivore diet now. They've managed to reverse arthritis, reverse diabetes, reverse all kinds of issues. In the case of Geoff here, he reversed his atrial fibrillation in his heart. People have reversed their high blood pressure, and they have lost a ton of weight. So it's a lifestyle that promotes a quality of health and longevity. That's what the carnivore diet is. So,
well, longevity, that may not be the case. Nobody has ever done any studies saying that the carnivore diet is going to make you live longer. However,
that would be true.
However, it does seem to make you look younger, because I just realized my 40-year high school reunion is this year. And I am the only one from my high school class that is almost the same. Everyone else is almost unrecognizable except for me. And I'm the only one that's been on the carnivore diet. Am I going to live longer than them? Maybe, maybe not. I may drop dead at 80. Maybe I'll live to 94 like my grandfather did. But who knows? I don't care. When I'm dead, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm not suffering. I'm not a burden to anyone. I just dropped dead of a massive heart attack, and that's it. They're either going to turn me into ashes or turn me into compost, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. That's the whole idea.
All right. So you're right. Longevity can't be predicted, but I think you can, may the odds ever be in your favor.
Well, I think the health span is what we can control. The lifespan is set when the the egg and the sperm get together, the lifespan, boom, that's it. That's all you got. There's nothing you can do to make it longer, but you can definitely shorten it by eating duck food, doing nasty, just living a lot of stress, living in a bad condition, smoking, drinking alcohol. Those will destroy you. And the thing is some people even still live a long time. They may smoke cigarettes. They may drink alcohol. They may live to 100, but they look like crap. By the time they're 60, they look like they're 120. And then as they get older, they just fall apart slowly. So it's not It's not an ideal situation. I'd rather go the heart attack diet, which I've done, which has kept me feeling great, looking halfway decent. I mean, I'm not pretty or anything, but I look better than most 57-year-olds, and I can do a lot of work. I work with people that are half my age, and they don't have the energy or the strength or the durability that I do. They got bad backs, they got bad knees, bad shoulder. I was working with a guy a few days ago, and we were trying to lift up a file cabinet, and his shoulder was driving him crazy. I had to pick up the whole thing by myself. I just pulled out one of the drawers and picked it up and stuck it in the truck. So really, I don't think that, they have these people, the longevity experts, always, and they never live longer than anybody else. My dad was into this whole life extension thing. He only lived to 82, and he ate all this, drink all them juices and all the fruits and vegetables and the whole grains and nasty stuff that I can't even stand eating. It smells disgusting and it tastes worse. So I'm over here eating the fatty meat and just loading up with the carnivore diet, and he's over there eating the fruits and veggies. He lived to 82. If I make it to 82, I think I'm going to be healthier than my dad was. But who knows? I mean, I could drop dead now. I could just go, and it's a big one. And
It's
also,
it's not about longevity. It's about quality of life.
and the other thing is, my dad was moody. He would be nice most of the time, but then something would snap and he'd get mad at me. And I was convinced it was his diet, eating all the stupid concoctions, the goofy veggies, and that just seemed to mess with his mind. His blood pressure was high, his blood sugar was high, and he was eating so-called healthy foods. And I'd pull out, Dad would take his blood pressure, I don't know where that thing went, I think Milton sat on it, and he'd pull it out, and it's like 190 over 90 something, and I pull it out, it's like 90 over 60, and then he gets mad at me. I don't understand it. That's because you're young. It's just a constant thing. And then it's been the same. I mean, when my dad was my age, he was going with the thing, pumping the blood pressure and looking at it and trying to see what it was. And every time he went to the doctor, it went up. Then I go there and it's low. It was very frustrating to him. But we know now. I just wish that you guys and everybody would have been around 20 years ago, and I could have told my dad, hey, why don't you check out these people? We got these carnivore doctors. We didn't have that years ago. And that's why I got so outspoken, because when I saw the carnivore community and everybody sharing their stories, I just couldn't stay quiet. I had to go out there and say it because it's been bothering me. I took care of my parents for 10 years and it was unnecessary. There's no reason why I should have had to take care of them and stop my life to be able to help them to stay out of the nursing home. They should have lived to the last moment, and then bang, there goes the heart attack. That's what I think.
All right. Yeah, very good. So I agree with you. When I say longevity, I'm thinking in terms of the many ways that people live that causes their lifespan to be cut short. So there's a lot of things we can drop, like eating duck food and smoking and drinking,
right?
Because those things are going to increase the odds of our longevity being cut short.
Right.
When we could realize the maximum potential by not engaging in those bad habits and eating good, nutritious, real food. So,
well, not only that,
I'm going to use the restroom. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
The other thing is the side effects of taking insulin or GLPs long-term, heart medicines, acid reflux medicines, migraine medicines, IBS medicines, all these medicines, heart medicines, whatever. I mean, what does all that do to your body too? I mean, you know what I mean? When you're taking all these medicines and all these treatments, that also impedes your quality of life.
And the other problem is all that stuff is expensive. It's not cheap. And then the worst part is your body is trying to do that for a reason. So if you're taking these medicines, it's going to get a tolerance to it and it's going to work around it. And what's the point? You got a headache all the time. You keep taking the medicine. It doesn't work anymore. Then you got to take something stronger. Then you get addicted and then it destroys your life. And it's like the alcoholic. They start off with a drink here and there. Next thing you know, it's a bottle a day. And then they're stumbling around and they're falling apart. It's the same thing with these prescription meds. They're taking these painkillers, these opioids, and they get addicted to that crap. And then they ruin their life. Then you got no energy. Then they got to take drugs for that. They got to take amphetamines or whatever they take. They got all these people on meth trying to keep themselves going. And if they would just ditch the duck food, eat the carnivore diet. They could be like me, someone that can be relaxed, but when necessary, can just kick into high gear and the energy comes out. And I don't get tired like they do. You don't see me out of breath. Have you ever seen any of my videos where I'm walking, talking, doing things and out of breath? Look at how fast I talk. I just go, go, go. And then I can be patient. But these duck food eaters, when they get like I am and they're energetic, it lasts for a while, then they get tired out. And they love to butt in. Every time you say something, they're like, they butt in. Oh, well, and it's just the same old thing. And I went through this with my dad. I've gone through this with friends. And believe me, it's frustrating to me, but I laugh at it now. I don't care. They can talk all they want. They can push the superfoods. They can push the supplements. They can push their vegan diet and all the nonsense that they just always are pushing on me. And I just laugh at it. I don't care.
The thing about medication is this: how you're tied to that doctor's office, relying on someone else to write that prescription every 3 months, every 6 months. It's stressful, and that's not the way I want to live.
Right.
And I'm saving literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
And the financial, yeah, absolutely.
I'm saving so much money, and I literally just take all that money, and it's like I'm eating free meat essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good way to think of it, Peter. Absolutely. Yep. Hello, Milton.
Milton is a lovable cat. I love him.
Where's your other cat, the calico?
She's outside. I've been feeding her. She's very tame now.
Can you pet her?
Yes, I can pet her. I haven't picked her up yet, but I can pet her now.
You think you're going to be able to get her to come inside?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think at any time I can grab her. I got to figure out if she's fixed or not. I mean, I haven't been able to examine her, but
just send her to the vet. They can, when they shave her belly, they'll look for a scar.
Right. Yeah, but she's tame enough to handle now. She comes up to me begging for food in the morning.
Look at this beautiful little boy. Look how good he is.
He's a gorgeous cat. Mm-hmm. He does get a little bit playful, but he's not clawing me anymore. He does bite me, though. He's very nice. I really love this cat.
I also should say, for everyone watching, I see we have some new people in the group, and I'm here talking about my skyrocketing CAC score. I also lost 100 pounds, reversed type 2 diabetes.
And you look great.
I think I'm better off.
Do you have a before picture you could show everybody?
Yep.
I probably can find one. Yeah. I mean, we can see.
I think I saw his before picture.
I showed somebody at work the other day my before picture, and they almost fell on the floor. They couldn't believe it was me.
And it's funny because the longer I've looked this way, then I meet new people that didn't know the old me. Like most of my coworkers remember me before, so it's not really. But when I meet new people that they don't know,
right? That's what I mean.
Funny. It's funny when they find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
While I was gone, did we share any words of encouragement with my Willie S57 here?
No.
Okay, yeah. So he said, I fell off the carnivore wagon again. I'm definitely struggling. Just get back on, as I know it's easier said than done, but but you just have to push, and I don't know how long you've been off the wagon, but if if it was just, I always say, if it was just like this last meal, like if you just ate something that was off plan, I stumbled and I fell. But what do you do when you stumble and you fall? You get up, you brush the dust off your knees, and you keep going, so, start again right now. Next meal, don't say I'll wait till next Monday. Don't say I'll wait till the weekend. Get back on it. And yeah, the struggle will be real for a couple of days because you might be, back to eating the carbs, and you're going to have to go through that whole withdrawal process again.
Well,
that is difficult, but you can do it. You can do it.
One other thing that really helps is write down your list of whys. Like, why are you doing this? Why do you want to get healthy? Why do you want to lose weight? Do you want to be there for your children? Do you want to be healthy and be there for your grandkids?
Be there for your family, yep.
What about for your wife or husband or spouse or partner? I mean, why do you want to do this? You know, there's got to be a why. And if you write down those lists of why, I call it the list of why that makes you cry. It helps because in a moment of weakness, the other thing is never let yourself get hungry. Most of the times when people cheat, it's because they're hungry. If
Right.
you're stuffed full of meat, okay, Rick, how hard is it, Rick, to get crave for duck food if you just ate like 2 to 3 pounds of meat?
Impossible. You don't even want to look at food.
You don't even want to look at food. So if you fill up on fatty meat or a bunch of eggs or both, there is no way in the God's world that you're going to want to cheat.
Yeah, that's right.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
And if you ever listen to old guy carnivore Mitch, that's his rule, right? Never let yourself get hungry. That's the first rule of when you're adapting to carnivore in the beginning is throw away the scale, hide the scale, throw away the scale, focus on converting from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And that's your mission. And never let yourself get hungry. And that's it. Period. End of story.
Right.
That's all you do. I don't care if you have to eat 10 pounds of meat a day. Do it. And you're not going to want to cheat. You're not going to be able to cheat.
That's right.
Very good. Very nice advice. So yeah. So come on back, Willie. You
Next
can do
week.
it. All right.
Come back every Monday.
He always asks, have you heard of 1 teaspoon of unmodified potato starch mixed in water before bed to help with inflammation? I've never heard of
wouldn't eat
that.
any potato anything.
Yeah, that's not something that
I don't
your
think
body
I would
needs.
eat a starch before bed because then you're not going to metabolize it.
Maybe a tablespoon of butter.
There you
maybe
go.
A little maybe some butter, maybe some
Yogurt.
Yogurt is a really good one.
Yeah. So I have not heard of that. I'd have to
heard of that.
Google it and see where that comes from.
The best thing for inflammation that I found is a low carbohydrate diet, and I don't think modified potato starch falls into that category.
Right.
Not at
I
all.
agree. Coach Amy says, my doctor wants me to get the BRCA gene testing done because of the high rate of breast cancer in my family. I asked what benefit would this give me. She said I could preemptively get a double mastectomy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Preemptively. Like,
That's
oh, you got the
wonderful.
gene. Let's just chop them off.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That reminds me when I first went to a gastroenterologist and got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is cured now thanks to the carnivore diet. But back in 2000, I don't know, 9 or 10-ish, I had the colonoscopy and I woke up and the doctor brings the imaging over and shows me the pictures and he says, and I quote verbatim, because I don't swear, but this is what he said: your colon looks like shit. And that was his exact words. And he showed me the pictures and it did. The ulcers everywhere. And he told me about the different medicines that they could prescribe for it. And he goes, we could just remove the colon and give you a pouch. I'm like,
not like nonchalantly.
Yeah, nonchalantly. Like, wait, you jump all the way to that. You just listed 6 medications we could try, and you said let's just jump to the last step and remove the colon. And he said some people are just anti-drug and they don't want to bother with it, so they just say go ahead if they get their colon taken out. And I'm like, no, I'll be happy to take the drugs. I kind of want to keep my colon.
That's not how I want to live.
Yeah.
How did you know that you had that? You had a lot of symptoms?
Yeah, so I had like chronic diarrhea like multiple times a day, and especially when I ate. And so I wasn't eating because I'd have to go to work, and if I ate something, I'd be stuck on the toilet for a couple hours. And I hadn't had it. I remember being out to dinner with my folks, and I was like complaining, I don't remember the last time I had a solid stool. And my dad's like, well, you need to see a doctor. That sounds serious. But I didn't have any insurance. And so that's why I wouldn't go, because I was afraid of the costs. And then when Obamacare first came out, it was at the time an Obama send for my family and we were able to get affordable insurance. And then I had the ulcerative colitis, and my wife had the fibromyalgia. and we were able to get some treatment for it. And but you know, that's also what led to my kidney issues. 10 years on those drugs tanked my kidneys, you know. And then I discovered the carnivore diet, and you know, I reversed my ulcerative colitis, but now I live with the kidney damage from all those years of taking those drugs. So
I wonder if when I was younger, I used to get a lot of diarrhea. And then when I tried to go plant-based, I had nonstop diarrhea for months. I wonder if that was starting to happen to me. And then I got the flu, and then I went back on the carnivore diet. I wonder if that would, because it was diarrhea 4 or 5 times a day. That's all I had for several weeks.
mm-hmm.
Well, when I was on the plant-based SAD diet, I struggled with hemorrhoids and constipation and alternating with loose stools. You know, it was back and forth. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And when I'm strict carnivore, everything's perfect. I don't even really use toilet paper even.
It's amazing, zero fiber.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So like, yeah, I was going 25 times a day.
Wow.
And
Oh my God,
it was terrible. So
wow.
yeah, it was pretty bad. But now it's all gone. So
Mm-hmm.
and the meds did fix it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the meds did fix it, but you know, now I found out that wow, I could have fixed it by just changing my diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking him too, like that back in 2008 or 9 or whenever it was, I said, is there any changes I should make to my diet? And he said, no, it has nothing to do with diet whatsoever. It's just an autoimmune disease. We don't know what the cause is, but you can continue to eat anything you want as long as you're taking these medications. That was his exact words. And now I know he was wrong. So dead wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dallas says, can you still eat butter? Yeah, I eat butter all the time.
Absolutely.
Man,
Yeah.
I eat tons of butter.
I go
Tons.
through at least a stick a day.
Yeah.
I'm not a stick a day. I cook my food in it, but I don't really like eat it, you know. So unless I'm making butter bites.
I smoked up some venison steaks earlier today, along with some other stuff, and man, it's every single bite of venison I take is gonna have a pat of butter.
How long do you smoke them for, Jeff?
Tastes so good.
How long do you smoke them for? A while? How long do you smoke them
No,
for?
not for very long. When I'm smoking a steak, it depending on thickness of the steak, it may be 30 minutes.
Oh wow, fast.
40
And
minutes. That's
you
it.
still
I'm
got
just
the
getting
flavor?
smoke on it.
Okay.
I get them to. I like my steaks rare to medium rare, so I try to pull them about 120 degrees.
That's
But
it.
they get some good smoke on them
Mhm.
and a little bit of salt. But see, venison is so lean that I have to have butter with it. I have to add some kind of fat with it.
Yeah, you do. You do.
And
I used to cook. I used to cook backstrap in a cast iron skillet. I would take a pound of bacon, a whole pound, you know, whole thing of bacon. Cook the bacon, take the bacon out, but leave all the grease in there, like that, all grease, and put the backstrap right in that bacon grease. Oh man! And then I would just take a knife and cut it right in the pan and just stab it and take little pieces and eat the backstrap right out of the grease.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, something I've done with my backstrap is I'll take it and I'll cut it and butterfly it
Right.
to where I can lay it out and it's fairly thin, and then I'll put like a cheese and crawfish, you know, cream cheese and crawfish in it, and fold it up and wrap it in bacon, and then smoke that on the smoker.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And like today, along with the venison that I cooked up, and I got a couple beautiful pieces of backstrap in the freezer. I'm just can't wait to get into them. But that venison steak I cooked up, I also smoked 2 bacon lattice wrapped meatloafs on the smoker, and that's some mighty fine stuff. I made one. I made a whole 2-pound meatloaf, and then the other 2 pounds of burger that I used, I made mini meatloafs. Each one was 3/4 of a pound each, and all of them wrapped in bacon and smoked.
Man, I'm hungry all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Not me. I've been picking at this stuff all day long. I haven't actually eaten a meal today, just because I've been picking at, this stuff here and there.
Along with this butter question, we have Elmo's Fan Club. Do you recommend eating sticks of butter off the bat, or like gradually cutting the carbs? So this is kind of like a up to you kind of thing. So some of us, we jumped into carnivore cold turkey. So
Not me.
One day we woke up and was like, I'm doing the carnivore diet, and we just jumped into it head first. If you do that, if you were on the standard American diet or a vegan diet before, you will probably have some adaptations, struggles, symptoms. So they call it the keto flu or sugar withdrawal. This could go on for a few days to a few weeks before you become fat adapted as they were, or at least on the way to being fat adapted. And then it gets
diarrhea.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So when I jumped into it cold turkey, I went like 9 days without going to the bathroom, felt like constipation. Then all of a sudden it was running like a faucet, then back to hard as a rock, then back to faucet. And that went on for me for about 6 weeks before it normalized. And so you might have some weird symptoms. Now, can that be avoided by gradually cutting the carbs? Yeah, you can. There's nothing wrong with a animal-based paleo, low-carb, keto type diet. I think those are good precursors to a carnivore diet. Unless you're trying to heal like a chronic disease, then
or if they're addicted to carbs.
Or if you're addicted to carbs, yeah, because then you might, if you're always letting yourself have some carbs, you just can never really commit. And but yeah, I would say step one is cut out the grains and the sugars, which is just a grain anyway, and go ahead and if you want to still eat half your plate fatty meat, the other half low carb veg, occasional nuts or berries or piece of fruit now and again, go for it, but then gradually nix the fruit. That would be the first thing to go, and then gradually cut that vegetable portion in half, and then gradually get rid of the vegetables altogether, so you're just eating animal products. And you can do this over the course of 4 weeks, and you might minimize or eliminate that keto flu or that adaptation because you took it slowly. Some people can't do that though. Some people, they're so sugar addicted, they have a handful of blueberries and boom, Snickers bar. They just can't help it, And if you're that type of person, then you're going to have to cut yourself off from the sugary fruit and
rip the Band-Aid off.
Maybe and stay away from starchy vegetables too, like potatoes and rice and stuff. Rice is a grain, but stay away from potatoes. And try to just do the low carb veg. And if the low carb veg triggers voracious sugar cravings in you, and you find yourself stumbling, then just jump straight head first into carnivore. So none of it's going to hurt you. Whether you take it slowly or whether you jump right in, nothing's going to like damage you, but you'll just might have to deal with some and I prefer to call them withdrawals, so it's really up to you. As far as eating sticks of butter, I don't see the need to eat a stick of butter. If you want to eat a stick of butter, you can, but I
don't eat butter per se. I eat butter with my meat.
Right.
It's a condiment.
Your steak or whatever.
And for somebody like me, I'm a carboholic. I had to jump in with both feet, go through 30 days of diarrhea, and that was the only form of keto flu I had, was really diarrhea and a little bit of listlessness. But I can't moderate. Just like an alcoholic can't drink beer, just because he's abstaining from whiskey. I can't moderate. I have to go 100% pure. And that's what I did. And it worked well for me. But if you can moderate, more power to you. You'd be better off easing into it, probably.
So a related question is, can I eat veggies on this diet? And again, I mean, you can
It won't be
eat
this
anything you
diet.
want. Okay.
Yeah, you'll be
it's
keto,
not-
not carnivore.
Yeah, it's not, it's not a strict carnivore. So when people say carnivore diet, they're usually referring to exclusive animal products. So, can you eat veggies on it from time to time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want. Yeah, there's no rules. It's
I typically don't
ultimately
buy
ultimately
veggies.
it's your diet, your lifestyle.
Right. I don't buy vegetables, but if I'm at a restaurant, I think Bob is similar, and there's a salad, a side salad, or a broccoli, I might eat it that day, but I don't keep it at my house.
Yeah. So like the definition of a carnivore, and some would like to, we get into the problem with labels. Some will say hypercarnivore is, like 70% or greater of your diet, or with a carnivore, the majority of your diet, it comes from animal sources.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't rule out, the occasional something here and there. Now, some people are strict,
Mm-hmm.
like Jeff, he's super strict. And when you hear about the transformation he's had from, wanting to give up and throw in the towel to getting his life back, you can see why he's super strict. It makes perfect sense. Me, I am strict-ish. So there's, if you want to eat, my first year I was stubbornly strict. Oh, no, don't cook in seed oils. I can't have the salad. Can you give me extra meat? I was just kind of like a pain in the butt to the serving staff or the restaurant. I'm not that way anymore. We only go out to eat once every week or two. And now I will go ahead and get like the side of broccoli, but that's the only vegetable I'm going to eat in the next 10 to 14 to 21 days, maybe even for the month, so, I'll still eat something off plan, for me, it's not off plan because I don't mind it. But because my concentration is to be as carnivore as I can, and so I'm carnivore 97% of the time. I go days, weeks without eating any plant material. If I have some plant material, I don't care; it doesn't bother me. So, reasons why you would want to avoid it usually comes down to chronic or autoimmune conditions. Rheumatoid arthritis is a big one. That's usually, you cut out the plants, that tends to go away. So it kind of depends on your personal health. If you're young, if you're healthy, and you don't want to do pure carnivore, but you want to do some sort of modified carnivore diet like ketovore or animal based, give it a try. See how you feel. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, get stricter. And and you have to find out what's going to work for you. So that's my suggestion. All right. Lexosaurus.
I'm gonna head out. I have to get to bed for tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for
having me. I appreciate it. Yep. Have a great night, everyone. I'll be listening.
You too.
Good night, Liz.
Bye, Kelly. Good seeing you.
Good night.
Lexosaurus says carnivore makes me think of dinos, and since her name is Lexosaurus, I'm thinking you're referring to dinosaurs. And
I eat dino ribs.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, a lot of dinosaurs were carnivore. A lot of dinosaurs were herbivores. A lot of dinosaurs were omnivores. That's the one in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, lions, tigers. What other? There's all kinds of carnivores. So, majority of species on Earth are actually carnivorous. You can look that one up. It's legit. Cindy can relate to Rick. I work circles around people in their 20s and 30s and 40s being on my feet for 10 hours straight. All right. 10, and she's 10 years carnivore diet.
Mm-hmm.
10 years showing the youngins how it's done.
That's right.
Very good. And Jason wants to know about your crazy trip home. Is there a story here that's worth telling?
Well, I mean, the bus didn't run on Sunday, but Dr. Kiltz, he was able to get a car to bring me back here. So that's pretty much as crazy as it got. On the way there, the bus broke down because something got stuck in the tire, but we were able to actually help the bus driver to get it out, and we were on our way. We're delayed about 40 minutes. But
okay.
hopefully the next time that I go to a meetup, I'm going to be driving there in my truck.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, glad you had a good time. I've seen a lot of people saying that they had a good time. That was at Kills' house, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Well, not the one he lives in, but the one that he uses for, where people stay, and he has his podcast and all that. It's right there by the water.
Okay. All right. Well, even still, that's pretty neat. I wish I had the opportunity and the means of taking a trip down to Florida and join all of you. So, but I'm way up north, so it's a little more difficult.
The only reason why it happened is because Dr. Kiltz invited me personally, and because otherwise I don't have the money. I couldn't afford. I mean, I could barely afford to take the bus over there, until I get financially back to some kind of normalcy. But he gave me the opportunity, and I took it, and I enjoyed it, and I was glad to be there. And he was making compliments about me, so it goes to show that Dr. Kiltz really is a great guy. I really like him.
Yeah. Like I said, I got to meet him face to face one time, and he's as cool as he is online. He's just as cool offline. It's the real deal.
That's right.
What you see is what you get. What you see on the lives and in the Zoom chats, he's the same person face to face.
Like I said, he's a lot like me, because when you see me in person, I'm exactly the same as when I'm online. So we had a lot more in common than I thought.
Lexosaurus talking to Elmo says, I think you're supposed to cut the cake right away and gradually cut veggies. Yes, that would be good advice. So yeah, ditch sweets, ditch grains, ditch man-made processed food. That's really the key.
Ditch the duck food.
Yeah. There's that new food pyramid that says eat real food above it. That's good advice. And the illustration at the top shows meat and vegetables as the largest section of that triangle. That's also good advice. And then of course we just think that the left side, where there's more meat and dairy, is where the prime advice, I think we think that the fact that it's listed first from left to right is also the best advice. So
yeah, I was reading the book that Dr. Nelson gave me, which you can see here. And when you go through it, it's a lot of the stuff that I do myself. I know Dr. Kiltz always recommends with vegetables, you want to cook those more, and with meat, you want to cook that less.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what I've experienced.
Yeah. And, because one, you don't want to cook out all the nutritional benefits of your meat. And but you do want to cook out all the toxins in the plants. So
we know that beans are toxic when they're raw, and a lot of plant material is toxic raw. So I think that's one of the reasons why they develop cooking, because when you're desperate, you got to eat tree bark. You can't eat that raw. You have to cook that up. So I think a lot of it, potatoes when they're raw are pretty toxic.
Right.
I think that cooking was developed to make plants edible. And as for meat, it's more of a preservation thing. If you don't have refrigeration, you can smoke or otherwise cook the meat to make it where it'll last longer. It's pretty basic, but the worst is the raw vegans. Everybody I know that's tried the raw vegan diet has had a total health crash. It just destroys you. All that raw plant material is just bad.
We've had reports of several dying.
Yeah.
From malnutrition.
That's right. Have you ever seen a carnivore diet eater die of malnutrition?
Nope.
Nope. I'm looking at one right now. 42 years.
Yeah. I may be skinny, and they can laugh at me. They think that I'm weak because I'm really skinny. But then they see me lifting an engine block, and they go, how is that even possible? How come his back isn't destroyed? Well, that's because I keep eating carnivore. I keep eating meat and eggs and high-quality animal-based foods. I may be as thin as a toothpick, but I'm a really strong toothpick. Try to break this toothpick. It isn't that easy.
So, Kelly, you've joined us on the screen. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually been listening to you I had about a couple hours ago, I had to go to work. I had to replace a tub faucet stem because it wouldn't shut all the way off. I thought I was a little worried that I'm like, oh no, this one's
Break
going to
off in the wall.
overflow because it was gushing. But they said, no, it just maybe it's trickling. It's not trickling, but it's like 10 to 15. Oh, I'm like, okay, 10, 15 seconds. If it takes that long to fill a cup up or a glass, I'm okay. Just keep an eye on it. I mean, it could have went overnight, but I'm like, easy call. But just like Rick, I had no problem. Like as long as I have my hip support on, I have no problem. I don't even have to walk with a cane. And like today was like enjoyable. I got outside. I did the 2 work orders. I took the big trash can. I went around and picked up trash. I mean, I got like 10,000 steps in today. Like I went up and I had like not even out of breath. I went up 3 flights of stairs to the 3rd floor and no problem. Went back down because I wasn't going to shut off the shut off on that apartment because I'm afraid that it would gush. And then I'm either having to replace that or just wait until the next day. But went right back down. No problem. The only thing I felt, it was just the pinch of the sciatic nerve, because I had that pinching every now and then. Other than that, I feel pretty good. And, I just sit down, take a little break, let the hip rest, then I keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we're glad to have you here. Lily has a question for me, and I'm guessing this is the question. If not, ask away, and we'll look for it. Do you guys eat tree bark?
See what you started with?
No, we don't. So I don't even know if it can be made to be edible. Probably, deers eat it in the winter. In the wintertime, deers eat it. That's what deers eat. They eat sticks when there's no food around.
Isn't that what killed Yule Gibbons?
So I don't know.
Remember Yule Gibbons back in the day, or am I just dating myself? Yeah, see, Paul remembers Yule Gibbons. Yeah, he was the naturalist that ate, plant matter out in the woods all the time. And my understanding, if I remember correctly, that he died from eating tree bark.
Want to eat tree bark?
Well, he felt like he could eat everything in nature, up to a point. And didn't work out so good for him.
Is everyone's cholesterol here in the normal range? If you mean normal,
what is normal?
If you mean normal. If you mean normal according to modern medical standards, and then who's normal? The American Heart Associations, the American Association of Family Pediatrics. I mean, which organization is publishing what they consider normal? Maybe, some people's are, some people's aren't. Some people go on a carnivore diet, they see their cholesterol go up. Some people, their cholesterol never changes. Some people actually see their cholesterol go down. So this is it's about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. It's about distributed like that too. It's not something we concern ourselves about. Your next question was, so my arteries can be blocked and I'll be fine? No, but just because you have high cholesterol does not mean your arteries are blocked. So you got to kind of divorce yourself from that thinking. High cholesterol does not automatically equate to atherosclerosis or clogged arteries. So I know people who have a LDL cholesterol in the 900s for years, and their arteries are still clean as a whistle and a 0 CAC score.
And I'll give you an example. My cholesterol, my total cholesterol is consistently around 325, 326. My LDL cholesterol is consistently around 220, 225, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right. When I had my first AFib attack, and this was before I went carnivore, when I had my first AFib attack, they wanted to make sure, see if I had done any damage to my heart, if I'd had a heart attack along with the AFib attack. And so they did a nuclear stress test. They did ultrasound on my chest, on my heart, on my arteries. They looked at every one of my arteries under imaging, MRI imaging, whatever it is, where they put dyes in. and my arteries were completely clear. And that was even pre-carnivore. And my cholesterol has always been about the same. It really didn't go up that much when I went carnivore. So yeah, cholesterol is no indication of cardiovascular disease. None.
Hi, Milton.
There's no proof that it causes cardiovascular disease.
And that goes on. So that leads into his next comment. Oh, wow, news to me. So it can be 300 and my risk of heart disease would be low?
Could be.
Possibly. Yes. Yeah. So LDL, if you look at a list of risk factors for atherosclerosis, your LDL actually ranks very low on that list. So it is on the list of risk factors. But remember, we're talking risk factors. It's still not signed, sealed, and delivered. Your largest risk factor is diabetes. So, and blood sugar, chronically high blood sugar, chronically high insulin. Those are your larger risk factors for developing cardiovascular issues. So your LDL, like I said, it can be sky high, and it's still not. And yes, you could have low risk of heart disease. So LDL is not a direct equivalent to risk. All right.
Milton.
Okay. Steadfast. Paul, I'm going to mute you again.
Milton. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. When you have something to say, go ahead and unmute yourself. That's fine. But just while you're just listening, I'm going to keep you muted because something's talking in the background. Sounds like a echo or a TV or something. Steadfast makes a good comment. Your trig to HDL ratio should be below 1.5. I've heard 2. And HDL over total should be above 25%. That I haven't heard, but I'm sure you've probably heard that from a reputable source. So yeah, your triglycerides, modern medicine wants them under 150. So let's say your triglycerides are 100 and your HDL is 50. That ratio would be 2 to 1 or 2 or less. So that would be good. And if it was even better, if your triglycerides were 50 and your HDL was 50, that would be 1 to 1, so that would even be better. That'd be, we're talking about below 2, at 1, those are ideal. If they're higher, there's more of a risk. So now.
And so if you look, you can see.
I'll blow this up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my HDL, this is my last blood test taken about a month ago. My HDL is 77 and my triglycerides are 50. My risk ratio is less than 1.
Yeah.
And that's with, okay, so my total cholesterol was 316 and my LDL cholesterol was 230.
All right. Now, by way of comparison, I have a little bit of a bigger risk ratio. When I was losing weight because of my kidney condition, my triglycerides actually spiked something insane, scared me to death. I had a triglyceride of 3,000 and an HDL of 16. So I was like, dang, I should be dead. And that's why I went on the phenofibrate, which tanked my kidneys even more. And when I should have just given it time, there's a reason for that. I made a YouTube video on it. But now my trigs are around 200 and my HDL is over 50. So, it's not too bad. And again, it's just a risk factor. It's not a death sentence. So remember, risk is relative. So let's see here. Before carnivore, this is Pond Apple. Before carnivore, my appetite for carbs and sugar was making me gain weight, putting me into pre-diabetes, was always looking for my next treat. Yeah, Yeah, carbs, they're addictive. They are addictive. And if I eat the wrong carb, then I'll be craving more. So yeah, that's we talk about, Jeff talks about how you can't moderate. I can moderate, but I won't deny that you have a little bit of a carb and the taste to have some more isn't there. It is there. You got to have self-discipline, or you just cut yourself off from carbs altogether. Everybody's frozen on my screen. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Rick has vanished. Okay. All right, for a second there, everybody was frozen.
No, I was communicating with my daughter. They had their conference tournament, game 1. I wanted to know if they were getting ready to leave where they're at, because it's about a 2-hour trip home from there where they're at.
Okay. All right, so maybe everybody was just holding very still. Jeff says, if you really want an excellent guide to our lifestyle, I would suggest you get the book, The Carnivore Diet by Sean Baker. He'll tell you everything you need to know about carnivore. And yes, I agree. I got that right here.
Excellent book.
Excellent book. I like this book because it's easy to read. So this is like a, maybe the beginner's guide to the carnivore diet, you could say.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get into the thick of it, the science of it, then I would recommend, and I don't recommend this lightly. This isn't actually a deep read, and you have to be kind of a brainy person who loves deep research. But The Carnivore Code by Paul Saladino is an excellent piece of work. And you want to dig into the science of it and the studies that back it up. He does an excellent job in that publication. All right. Let's bring Paul back in. And Bob, you look like Dave Ramsey. Look him up. Okay. All right. I see who that is. Let's in case you don't know. This guy does I think he talks about finances, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he's got a Financial Peace University.
Okay. Where is it at? Share screen.
In fact, I actually, he gave me the inspiration and the ideas on how to get not only financially secure, but debt free.
Okay, I get it. Bald guy with some facial hair. It's pretty basic. Here's one that I got. I thought this was mine. I think this is mine. Is this it? Oh, I thought that was it. Oh, Mike Moffat. There it is. Here we go. This. Someone showed me this. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Hold on. You'll see why I bring this up in a minute. Stop. And let's do another one. Share screen. Someone showed me this several months ago at work.
Spot on.
I know, isn't it? Isn't that?
Dang.
So this is Mike Moffat, and he's a character in Seinfeld. Yeah. Portrayed by Lee Ehrenberg. So yeah, that's a character named Mike Moffat. And I've watched his clips on YouTube and with some friends and family, and they're blown away because his mannerisms, the way he talks, it's almost like this is my twin. It's nuts. So they say everybody has a twin out there. That's mine. Yeah, first time I saw that, I was like, unbelievable. What's the difference between keto and carnivore? So both of them are low carbohydrate. Both of them can potentially put you in a ketogenic state. Carnivore, if you allow for milk, might not, because there's carbohydrates in milk. But usually most people doing carnivore are trying to go for zero carb, and that's pretty much it. So there's like, carnivore is not a zero carb diet. There's still some carbs in meat. There's still some carbs in eggs. There's still some trace carbs in cheese, but it's about as low as you can go when it comes to carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are predominantly, a plant thing. Hair dye has a correlation with breast cancer. I did not know that. Willie says, you guys are awesome for coming together and doing these shows and educating schmucks like myself. You're not a schmuck, Willie. You can do it. Come on, get back on the wagon. You're good. You're good.
Remember, attitude.
Yep. You can do it. That's the main problem in humanity. After the breast milk, we're adapted to fruity and sugary slop. Yeah, baby
Right from
food.
the beginning.
Yep. Milk to meat. Right?
What's that, Paul?
Doesn't it say in the Bible, milk to meat?
Nope, doesn't say anything like that.
Or is it milk before the meat?
Nope, doesn't say that either.
It's in there. I know it's in there.
I know it ain't. So
I'll double check, but
so no, it ain't. No. If we're gonna, the Bible makes plenty of references fruit, like in the Garden of Eden. And Israel was a agricultural society. They built storehouses. They collected their grain, and they had grain offerings as well as burnt offerings and whatnot. So they ate a pretty well-rounded diet, a little bit of everything. So, but you have the biblical permission. You have the divine permission to eat meat. So a lot of vegans. I have a video about Jesus was not a vegetarian, and I get hateful comments every day from people trying to tell me I'm wrong. But if you read the book, Jesus was not a vegetarian. So, and animals were for pets, for domestic use on the farm, for animal sacrifice to atone for your sins, and for consumption. So it is what it is. Sorry, vegans. I had to taper off carbs, but you have to have the goal to get to carnivore. There, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you have as you cut off the carbs, your goal has to be if you're going to gradually taper yourself off, put a timeline on it and commit and stick to it. X amount of carbs this week, X amount of carbs this week, X amount of carbs this week, and each week eliminate a food group until you're down to just a carnivore diet. That make a plan. Either go cold turkey, or chart your course and stick to it.
I like that. Setting your goal to get to carnivore.
Yeah. Very good. Sue Galetly says, I was carnivore for 3 years, transitioned to carnivore. I was ketovore for 3 years, transitioned to carnivore, and it was a smooth transition. Very nice. I was keto for a few weeks before I did carnivore, and my transition wasn't so smooth. But, oh well. I lived 10:48, getting late. Jamette asks, who believes in fasting and how should you? Thank you.
It's individualistic.
It's individualistic. Fasting has been a thing, either voluntarily or involuntarily, for thousands of years. A lot of people in our community are really big into fasting. There's people who they fast one day a week. They'll do like a no food Saturday, no food Mondays. There's people that will fast once a month. They'll take 3 days off of eating, 5 days off of eating. And then there's people like me that kind of don't really care for fasting. I like food. I like to intermittent fast though. I eat 2 meals a day, and that works for me. Sometimes I only eat 1 meal. So, and it depends how hungry I am, how much work I do, and there occasionally there's a day where I might not eat anything. So, but it's rare.
I have done some long fasts. In the beginning of carnivore, I did a long fast just because I didn't get hungry, and I said I'm not going to eat till I get hungry. It was just kind of a fun thing to do, really. And I know people that will fast for weight loss, try to shock their body. I don't think that's a good thing to do myself personally. At least it isn't for me. But I did OMAD for a long time, and just because it came natural to me, and because I don't eat unless I'm hungry. Well, then I got to the point where I started getting hungry. As I got down to as low as I needed to go, which was 160 pounds, I started getting hungry again more often. And and now I do eat 2 meals. Because it came natural. Now, when I do a long fast, I no longer do long fasts just for weight loss or carnivore or my health. I do a long fast for spiritual reasons. For me, it's a spiritual fast, and it has nothing to do with food. It's just strictly prayer, meditation, and getting closer to God for me.
There you go. Anybody else fast?
I think only one time I fast was December 24 to do a colonoscopy, which turned out to be 0 issues. I think I fasted for 30 hours. Most of the time I'm either 2 meal a day or 1 meal a day. Depends on how I feel. Like last Friday, I was like, I'm hungry. I'm going to go. And it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to McDonald's. I'm going to go grab burger patties. As I drove there, I just drove on by. It's like, it's 2:15. I can wait another couple more hours. I'll be off work. I'll go home and I'll save my money. I'll go home and I'll eat. And that's exactly what I did.
I eat 3 meals a day, no fasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rick likes to eat, though.
Mm-hmm. Don't let my skinny appearance fool you. I'm a big eater. Ask anyone at the meetup this weekend.
Oh yeah, did you set some records? Did you win? You beat everybody.
Well, I think I ate more than everybody else, but I didn't set any personal records. I didn't want to get stuffed. But no, I ate quite a bit. I mean, I'm sure I put away over 3 pounds of meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's in one sitting, one meal. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. I can maybe do 1.5 pounds, and then I'm stuffed, and I'll probably fall asleep and have a nap.
I do 2 routinely when I eat my meals. 3 is stuffing it.
1.5 to 2 is good for me.
4 is max. That's when I can't swallow anymore.
All right.
Yeah, I'm 1 meal a day, and I don't fast because I think my body just sees it as an interruption to my rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just consistency seems to be my best policy.
Mm-hmm.
So fasting is not consistent. 1 meal a day is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sandy's talking about once a year for 15 years. Talk about here. It was another user, Carnivore Jerry. Yeah, she fasts for 40 days every winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she just came off another one. So yeah, so some people like I said they enjoy fasting. Dr. Kiltz, who was on here earlier, is a huge advocate of fasting.
Mm-hmm.
He preaches fasting all the time, and says it's a good way to give your body a break and give it a chance to focus on itself and heal, and that is true. So there's a process called autophagy, which is comes from some ancient words that basically means like eating yourself. And But after like 17 hours, I think, of not eating, your body starts this process of autophagy where it starts breaking down and removing cells that are damaged, no longer useful, old, and using those for energy, recycling them, as it were. So fasting there is a literal purification process to fasting physically. A lot of people do it for spiritual reasons, but it can physically purify you too.
Well, technically, I go 12 hours a day without eating.
Yeah, and I'm like 16, so yeah.
For some conditions, it may be the key. It may be very beneficial for certain conditions.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Used to eat OMAD, now eating 2 MADs, and I'm going to star that one so I know where I came back to. All righty. So here's a question from Agent 99-0, 65, mostly carnivore, little raw sugar in my coffee, lots of burping after eating even the smallest thing. Okay. So what's the question? Is that normal? Maybe for you. I only burp if I eat too fast, swallow a bunch of air, and I drink a lot of carbonated beverages, and so if I suck down carbonated beverages real fast, I will burp. So lots of burping after eating. If you're like me, I eat fast, so I will burp after eating myself. I think it's normal.
Yeah, it's just from swallowing air.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. That's quite the normal process here. Lily Shoemaker, does going on the carnivore diet cause any hair loss? Maybe. If you start rapidly losing weight, sometimes that sudden change and the sudden weight loss causes your body to lose its hair, because your body's like, oh my gosh, there's a famine and we got to start diverting all nutrition to what actually counts and is important, and your hair is not on that list. and so it'll come back. The hair will come back. So any drastic change in weight, no matter what diet you're on, could potentially cause hair loss. And then if you are restricting your food intake, you could be exacerbating the problem. So like if you go on a carnivore diet and you're like, I'm only going to eat 1,000 calories a day, that's not enough. And now you're depriving yourself. Not only is your body going, oh my God, there's a famine, but you're literally depriving yourself. And so it says, okay, we got to conserve direct protein and nutrition to things that count. Your hair is not one of them. So
generally when we see it in the carnivore community, it's usually women. And I think it boils down to hormone issues with, like you said, the rapid weight loss. I heard a good explanation on it one time, and I wish I could remember exactly what was said, but it boiled down to pretty much what you said, Bob, that your body is going into a fight or flight mode. And it's sending nutrition where it needs it to fix things, and it's drawing it away from things that it's not going to matter too much, as far as, like your hair. And but it generally, as your body adjusts, it does come back. So don't look at Paul and Bob and think that it causes hair loss. They did that before carnivore.
Yeah, my hair fell out in my 30s. And you know what? And I sometimes wonder, if I knew then what I know now, might I have preserved my hair? Maybe. So, or maybe I was always just genetically predisposed to lose it anyway. So, all right. Bacon Runner says her trigs are 55 and HDL is 134. That is amazing. That is amazing. Your HDL is double your trigs. What's that work out the ratio? Let's see here. I'm going to do the math. We have, was it 55 divided by 134? 0.4. That's your trig to HDL ratio, 0.4. 4.
Amazing.
That is amazing. You should be able to leap buildings in a single bound. that is awesome. Then we have don't boil the kid in its mother's milk. Now that is in the Bible. And the question is, do you know why? You know why that law was in there? Quiz question for the religious. I'll go ahead and tell you. So that command was in there. It reflected God's compassion and his stance against animal cruelty. So one of the things that we're often accused of being on a carnivore diet is, oh, don't you love the animals? Animal cruelty was always looked down upon, warned against, considered sin, was punishable back in Bible times. So there's another scripture that says, take good care of the soul or life of your domestic animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for us today, that might mean your cat. Yeah, Proverbs. Do you remember the exact citation?
No, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, take good care of the soul of your domestic animal. So for us, that could be a cat, like Milton, or a dog, like Willow here behind me. Back then it would refer to an Israelite's sheep or cattle. Oh, there's a dog right on the screen. Let me blow that one up. Dog,
dude, you're on camera. Look,
hey.
The world's seeing you. Look.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's a cutie, or she's a cutie. He or she.
He.
Yeah. Does he got some healer in him?
Yes, he is part beagle and part blue healer.
Yeah. See, that's what I got
What
right
a combination.
here. I got a blue healer right there.
I just call him the Goofy. It's my daughter's dog, but I call him the Goofy Hound Dog. But his name is Doodles or Dude.
What's going on, Willow? Willow. Okay. Yeah, not fooling her. She's like, you're boring live streaming. I want you to let me out.
Oh, yeah, get my face.
And yeah, so it's our cats and dogs. Back then, it might have been a sheep, goat.
For me, it still is sheep, goat, cattle.
Yeah. For Jeff, sheep, goats, cows, horses. The other
Take good care of them.
Take good care of them. And so, yeah, that's what this command here: don't boil a kid in its mother's milk. So it showed compassion and a desire to prevent cruelty to animals, and it was also believed to have been a safeguard against pagan rituals and practices that could lead to idolatry. So I guess boiling a kid in its mother's milk is something that the pagan surrounding nations around Israel may have been engaging in. And breaking bread. Yes, so breaking bread. I mean, people have been breaking bread for thousands of years, and so yeah, you'll read about that too.
And that's probably the closest carb I'll get is a tiny piece of bread dipped a little bit in grape juice, only on communion or when they do communion once a quarter at church. That's it.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've talked about this before, if you had control, if you could moderate, if you're healthy without any types of autoimmune diseases, could you have a piece of bread every once in a while? Yeah. Like again, you can eat what you want. Why do we steer people away from it? Because most people can't eat what they want without consequences, So those of us that stay away from grains and stay away from sugar, some of us will stay away from fruit and stay away from vegetables, is because when we were eating those things, we were sick and they were causing us problems, or we were addicted and we couldn't stop and we gained a lot of weight. And so by cutting those things out, now we're super healthy and we don't ever want to go back to the unhealthy state we were in. So that's why. But a lot of carnivores, they treat this diet as an elimination diet, which it is. And in time, they start gradually adding some things back in, see if they can tolerate them, because they don't want to necessarily eat meat for the rest of their life. And if that's you, and you can add things back in gradually and enjoy a few extra things and live and be fine, then we're happy for you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, the bread they had in the Bible ain't the bread we got today.
Right. That's true too.
100% agree. And the way they process it's way different because they used to stone mill it. Now it's all.
But yeah, that grain, that wheat, that's what God made. What we have now is something that man made.
Willie asks, does anyone here have prostate problems that have been reverted?
No.
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 I'm not aware of anybody who has had a prostate and the only problem I can think of is cancer, or an enlargement, right? Does that happen?
Which I have both.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
has anybody reverted it? No, I've never.
No, I have not reverted mine. Now, with that being said, I just had my most recent PSA test last Monday, and I go to see my urologist tomorrow to get the results. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be elevated. But what I'm doing is, because I do have prostate cancer, I am eating a strict carnivore diet so that I'm not feeding that cancer glucose or any more glucose than what my body naturally creates. And so I'm starving it as best I can. But yeah, I'm not reversing it, at least not yet. We'll find out in time, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll be curious to see what happens with that. So yeah. So I don't personally know anyone who has reversed any type of cancer with a carnivore diet. But I believe I've heard some stories, like maybe on Dave Mack's channel or something. So
I've heard several stories.
Yeah. But I don't personally, like I haven't communicated with anybody myself who has had that outstanding result. Thank you, Cranky Carnivore Cutler. Proverbs 12:10. That's the take care of your domestic animal. So, all right. What happened that people will feel happy and healthy only when mostly invented markers confirm it? There are people like that. They see that's one of the downsides with numbers is people see them and they get scared. I get comments like that on my YouTube channel all the time. People are like, "Oh, my trigs are 135. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm so scared." I'm like, chill. You have nothing to be afraid of. Mine were 3,000 at one point. Your 135 is fine. Don't panic. Don't overreact. Oh, my LDL is 500. I'm scared to death. Don't be scared. Are you losing a bunch of weight? If you lose weight rapidly, guess what? Your LDL goes up. LDL is stored in adipose tissue that dissolves around your gut, enters your bloodstream. All your numbers go up. If you're in the process of losing weight, things are going to be wonky until your weight's stable for at least 6 months. So yeah. So it's nice to get your blood markers before you diet and check them every 3 months. But when something is, a little bit out of range, don't panic right away. It could be just temporary, or there could be a good explanation for it. And I think a lot of people, they panic, including our doctors. So that's why they're like, "Oh, statin. Oh, this." So I'm tired. That was our last comment, and I think that's good because we're past our bedtime.
Yeah.
Yep. So thanks everybody who joined us on screen. Thank you everybody who participated in the chat. And let's see here. We're still sitting strong at 44. That's awesome. We have right now we have 1 on Facebook, 37 at Carnivore Talk on YouTube, and we have 6 visiting us from Target Prime Rib, who linked his stream to ours. So we appreciate that. And for those of us over 50, LDL level is inversely proportional to all-cause mortality. And yeah, that's true. Well, people with elevated LDL seem to live longer than those with LDL that's low or controlled. So
Yeah, that was a statistic that was totally ignored back during the studies. Back in the 50s and whatnot and 60s, all that was totally ignored.
Oh, and you know what else I didn't do? I didn't go through my bullet list of ways that carnivore is good for the heart. Tom mentioned reduction in inflammation. We did talk about that one. And I had 4, and we did talk about favorable changes in lipid markers. So that was good. We also talked about the elimination of processed food and sugars. So those were tossed on there. And I guess we did touch on them. We just didn't address them directly. We addressed them through answering our questions in the chat and in the comment section. So my bulleted list was reduction in inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity and blood sugar controls, weight loss and reduced visceral fat, favorable changes in blood lipid markers, and elimination of processed foods and sugars. So that's all 5 major changes that the carnivore diet does that benefits you. And that's why carnivore is good for your heart. So in February, being National Heart Month, we recommend give the carnivore diet a try. So the hardest part of carnivore, where one buys their meat. I stand clear away the best I can from supporting inhumane ways. I support the local farmer, free range and pasture raised. And yeah, that's very commendable of you. If you can afford to pay honor to your local rancher and free range options, then absolutely definitely do that. Because of the supporting of humane ways, supporting local ranchers, and supporting regenerative farming. I definitely think if you have the means to do that, definitely do so. So that's a good comment. Yeah. If you can't, Walmart and Sam's Club, it is what it is. Get what you can afford. But if you can afford to honor these other venues, then definitely do it. Buy local. So that's it. I'm done. So again, thank everybody for in the chat, all your good comments and questions. Thanks everybody who joined us on the screen. We will see you next Monday. And until then, have a good week.
Good night, Joe.
Stay on after I hit the stop button. You're more than welcome to. But good night, everybody. We'll see you later.